amigos on the bank will be rolling shit. Amigos on the bank will be. Suck your pennies on me. Suck your pennies on me.
needed to update the thumbnail. It was bad, so I was like making a better one, which is why I just needed to make a fucking better one. It was bothering me. It was bothering me, and then I was like, is Kat around? Can I have her do it while I like start stream? And then of course she has to do something called spend time with her family for the holiday. Okay? I am running a sweatshop here, okay? I'm not expecting you to spend time with your family. I don't want that around here. I don't want that. I'm not a fan of such things. I'm an old furry gooning time. That's my activation phrase, actually. So like, all right, okay. So I'll look, I wouldn't even know about this if it wasn't for fucking Falgi tweeting about this shit. All right. Because I don't even get Google, dude. This is how bad things are, okay? Nobody like there's nothing, guys. There's nothing. I know like drama YouTuber complains that we're in a drought, stream number 9,000, right? But like it's like you're either like dead set stuck inside the ACC like trenches, or alternatively you are EHD forever, okay? And it's terrible because then there's nothing in between. No other drama creators talk about anything else. There's like nothing else, right? It's really bad, actually. I don't know what I need to do to mobilize Little Guys Incorporated, but we need to get these stocks back up, guys, okay? Stocks need to go back up. I need to mobilize the weaponized autism of this audience, okay? There we go. Let me make a goal. There we go. You'll all become goons, okay? Why did I make it 10? What am I doing? I'm not going to switch it back. Dead air. That's crazy. It's rehashing old drama and pearl clutching a gooner bait. Yeah, which like also, I mean, I assume that I am quite the contrary to that. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? It's funny because all of the guys who are like, I don't even consider a lot of the folks that are like around these days to be commentary, if I am being honest. The vibes, it's just different. But I know we've all heard that conversation before, so I'm not going to belabor the point. But they're all like closet bisexual to gay, but they're all like desperately afraid to appear masculine. But like, brother, you're 120 pounds soaking wet, all right? Like you're a twink masquerading as a masculine man, but all you do is debate ethics on the internet, all right? Like let's realize that you are the one that Plato would fuck. Like that is what you are. I mean, I for one am all for antiquity coming back. I just didn't want that one in particular. I wasn't asking for that. I fuck with the toga thing. I just don't want to fuck dudes in a toga is what I'm saying. This could be describing dozens of dudes. Yeah. I've always considered myself drama. I feel like drama is an easier one. But yeah, for the little guys who aren't, I do want to do like an end of year poll for like the biggest stories of the year. So I'll probably be in the server again and start trying to like, drum it up to so that way we could get people to answer the poll of what they feel the biggest dramas of the year are. I want to do like an award show where the audience votes. I guess the only commentary drama I've seen is that Lyrics is now blocking everyone that mentions his time in commentary. Look, he's entitled. Okay, so the guy's like trying to like run him down. He's entitled to leave, man. The motherfucker's entitled to leave. He left, okay, and he got like a successful gig out of it. Good for him. I don't really. Who gives a shit if he was commentary? But like, I know some commentary shitters are going there to try and drum it up. It's like it's not coming. All right, like I understand why he's doing that. I don't really see a problem with him doing it. Yeah, drama's fine. People just pretend to be too good for it. I mean, yeah, drama is fine. People do pretend to be too good for it. But then conversely, the people who get into the drama also feel like they're both trying to be too good for it. I don't know. It's like on two sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had saw this and anonymous and neon cat. What the fuck? I didn't know they added neon cat to the anonymous and like things. We're the commentary community. That's horrible. The thing is though, Weaver, is that would just be called. So in the now recording era, which is now posthumous, in the past, we're in a post now recording world. But like I remember the now recording guys calling them commentary hell, right? But now they're not commentary hell, and some of these guys are just commentary. It's very funny. But we are here to talk about a Google Doc, okay? Are we technically... Look, man, I'm not going to put a fucking label on it, okay? I just do my own thing. I don't fucking... All of these people are crazy. I'm a streamer, and I talk about things that don't matter. That's it. That's it. But... We're gonna discuss this Nick Nocturne, aka Nightmind, Google Docky. We need to vote in Diesel's Discord on what to call ourselves. Well, we're Little Guys Incorporated, okay? We're an international military peacekeeping organization, okay? We're like Soldiers Without Borders and an international criminal syndicate, all right? Very, very important stuff to understand. Cat, if you start a T channel, I'll sub. All right, we're funded by the dick holders. All right. The lore here is really easy to understand. Okay. What do you mean you won't put a label on it? Do I mean nothing to you? Or are we not official? Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, like, it's like one of two things, right? I am receiving a message. Oh, well, that bears no bearing. I have no bearing on me. Let me mute my Discord. Sorry about that. I probably got some of you to open up your fucking Discord right there. What's up, guys, gals, and gooners? I like how are we is gooner the new gooner's the new non-binary way to refer to your homies? That's not a good one, I think. I think we need to mix that one up. Okay. You know, if it is, I'm okay with it. Gooner is like the 2025 gamer. I actually 100% agree with that. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I think I've seen some guys and girls on the internet, both genders, by the way, both all genders. Sorry, I meant to be woke. But like I have seen posts from people that like are actual gooners, right? Not like goons where they smoke a cigar, have gloves, and wear the Newsies cap outside in like a warehouse and they wait for Batman to attack them. I mean like somebody who like thinks of like masturbation in the same way you think of like stamp collecting or like or like or like someone who thinks of masturbation in the same breath as like knitting, you know, where they spend a lot of time like actually like masturbating. Jerk off hobbyist. Yes, it's like jerk off hobbyist. I've gone on twitter.com, aka X to everything app, and there's someone that's like, I'm a 20-year-old neat. I don't go outside. All I do is sit inside and fucking flick the bean for 40 hours a day or 40 hours a week every day, and I don't go outside, and I smell really bad, and my room is filled with garbage. I think that's just depression and that they're masking it, but like they make it like a featured part of their personality. Is the document good, and is the clap seal the guy that made the furries are a minority class? And the no, well, okay. I think that this document is bad. I skimmed it a little bit. This seems like somebody with like an axe to grind. Full disclosure, I knew Nightmind. Just for for reference here. I've been in not in the same room as him, but we've been in VCs together a long time ago, a long time ago. But I have a feeling that this is one of those like axe to grind Google Docies. I think one of the funniest things about this, right? One of the funniest things about this is that so like they set up who Nightmind is, and then they're like, oh, Nightmind was in Shelby Oaks. And yeah, so I think the only reason that this is happening right now, which I do believe some of this is a relitigating of prior things. I think the only reason that this is happening right now is because Nick Nocturne, aka Nightmind, was was in the hit YouTuber movie Shelby Oaks. Dude, when I only like when I read the Shelby Oaks thing, I'm like, no fucking way. I cannot believe that he was in Shelby Oaks. I'm old. What the fuck is Shelby Oaks? Chris Stuckman, who is a movie reviewer, made a movie, and they advertised it as the guy who reviews movie on YouTube. That guy make movie, right? And that movie was Shelby Oaks. And then the only thing I know about Shelby Oaks beyond that is that Red Letter Media absolutely ribbed the shit out of Shelby Oaks. I haven't seen Shelby Oaks. Nobody's seen Shelby Oaks. Anybody in chat, have you seen the movie Shelby Oaks? Because Shelby Oaks watch party win. Oh shit. Anyway, we'll just get right into it. She shall be on my oak until that movie review. Shelby Oaks, I think it's like an old folks home or something. I don't know. I didn't see the movie. Oh shit. I'm not familiar with Miss Oaks, dude. Shelby Oaks is like an old-timey porn star name. Is it like Shane Dawson's not cool? No, okay. I look, given what I've seen of Shelby Oaks, it seems to have a lot more integrity than not cool, which is probably the most brutal thing to say. I saw Shelby Oaks as part of my AMC Stubbs subscription, or else I would have paid to see it. What was your... Can we get like your chatter size review of Shelby Oaks? It was okay. That's actually like brutal. The fact that that was a 3-letter review, dude, you would have been giving that a 2 on Letterboxd. That's what I'm guessing. Is it it's like a 2, right? I saw Ralph the Movie Maker's review of Shelby Oaks earlier today. Apparently, it's a horror movie that takes place at an amusement park. I thought it took place at a geriatric old people's home. It sounds like, yeah. We're just copying. We're literally just... I feel like part of this is us like all experiencing that Red Letter Media video and then all going, yeah, I guess it took place in an old folks home. Yeah, I think it took place in an old folks home. And then everybody is like, this is a Mandela effect thing. I can't. We're all going to be sitting here. Diesel, what's your stance on the situation overall? I haven't even read the first sentence. I mean, like I said, I think that this is like an axe to grind Google Docy. Okay, so the things I've seen are definitely giving So, what are your thoughts so far on that sentence? On Shelby Oaks? I honestly, I think I'm talking about Shelby Oaks so much that I just gotta fucking watch the movie now. When are we getting the Diesel movie? You know, I thought about it for a long time, Pi, but I think the risk of me making Shelby Oaks is too high. I think I'll stick to written media. I think I can do something there. Anyway, we'll get on with it. Are you gonna eat for Thanksgiving tomorrow? I mean, yeah, I'll be live for Thanksgiving. I know that sounds abysmal, right? Being live for Thanksgiving, but I don't have anything to do tomorrow, so I'm gonna be here. Anyway, Nightmine, also known as Nick Nocturne, is a YouTuber and content creator who's been creating content and covering independent horror projects since 2015. Over the past 10 years, he's developed a reputation of supporting and platforming underappreciated works from numerous creators spanning multiple platforms and mediums. I'm too woke for Thanksgiving. Do you do land acknowledgements giving, Pi? Is that what you do? You do a woke friendsgiving where you guys just sit in silence and think about what you've done. This extends to hosting the Nightmine Index, an online database where new and aspiring creators within the online horror space can submit their projects for review, potentially spotlighting them on live streams and on his main channel. Yeah, this is a ChatGPT-ass Google Docy. He also branched out in recent years and begun doing voiceover and various works from visual novels and audio dramas. For those of you that have never heard Nightmine's voice, I might as well play you a clip, okay? I might as well play you a clip because I think when you guys hear his voice, you're going to be like, Zoo-wee mama. God damn. It's a Raycon sponsor in this one. Don't do it. He's monotone and boring. I think he has a nice voice.
Shopping to do, and that means comfort and environmental awareness are a must. Ultralight with a
Oh my god, it's a Raycon sponsor.
flexible multi-angular rotating ear hook. Raycon's is the pacing and the use of silence and unease that usually comes from effective ghost stories. Relate directly.
He talks horror like he's trying to rizz you up. I hate it. You guys say that, but then when I put on a sexy voice for stream, you guys are biting your lips like crazy style. I don't. We all pick and choose who we goon to. I get it. I get it. It annoys me. He has a deeper, smoother voice than Scary Interact. Yeah, well, there's a lot of guys that are. I feel like part of what annoys me about some horror creators on YouTube is that they have the voice of like a. They sound like they're doing a Watch Mojo. You know, and I don't like that. I don't like the guys that talk like they're doing Watch Mojo. Nightmine's voice is interesting. Other people have like YouTuber voice. And YouTuber voice is really not what I want to listen to when I'm watching a horror video, right? There's like this weird fake like sympathetic serious that a horror creator puts on that annoys the shit out of me. I don't mind horror creators using a normal voice. It's okay to be a guy named like Craig or whatever.
He sounds like he does BookTok audiobooks.
That's true. I'm surprised he wasn't doing BookTok audiobooks earlier, honestly. What about Nick Crowley? He's exactly who I'm thinking of when I think of the guy who's doing like a fake sympathy voice. That's not that I dislike the videos. It's just that sometimes if I'm in that mood, I'll listen to it. I'll be like, this fucking guy. Mama Max. If Mama Max wasn't a fucking lunatic, he would have made really good horror videos. It's actually such a tragedy that the guy's so mentally ill. Okay. Because he has a lot of creative chops And the fact that he squandered all of that on this like crusade is like insane. In terms of like production, the guy is very talented. So it's actually such a shame. Yeah, he used to do videos on horror topics, didn't he? Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then also, I mean, I've also said this before, but not like Mama Max's media literacy when it came to Hotline Miami was also like abysmal. I would honestly believe that Hotline Miami 2 was directly inspired by how little Mama Max understood about it as a piece of media, you know? I could cancel you, Charlie, but I choose not to. Yeah. He also branched out in recent years, began doing voiceover work for various visual novels and audio dramas to full-length audiobooks and ASMR videos. It's gonna be crazy once I become an ASMR YouTuber, chat. His most recent work is playing the role of the Black Hat in an audio drama for the animated show Villainous. I gotta Google this. Mama Max is literally the fans from Hotline Miami 2. Yes. Yes, he is. So the original version of Jack, it also killed pedos. Oh my god, is this a a Mexican animated TV series? I've seen that Bad Guy. It's a Cartoon Network show? What the fuck? Let's see. Okay. An HBO Max until 2025 when it was mentioned as a spin-off. All right. Sure. Interesting. Neat. Listen, okay. Look, I understand what Sly Boy's going through and all that stuff, and he seems like an all right dude. I'll just say that every time somebody is like, my job on the internet is pedophile hunting, they're fucking nuts, okay? And every time we go to idolize these guys, you like you're emboldening somebody that just like is like mentally got some fucking serious screws loose. I would really, really urge up-and-coming creators to not make something like that their mainstream of content. I think there's something that it unravels in your mind, and I do think that we shouldn't encourage it, and that it's bad for, like, the ecosystem. Like, definitely, like, let the police do their fucking job. That's really just the gist of it. And if you come across something, report it to the police or the feds. Like, just do it. Like, and you can make a video after, just report it first. You know, that's what I've done. Just report it first and then make a video, right? But you should always report it first, except unless if you're stupid and you think it's wrong to do that, but you should. But that's just my overall take on that, like, genre of content, is that it always, like, it's like when you stare into the abyss stares back, and so it's just not, like, conducive to, like, a healthy mental status. Especially the more you veer off from, like, the traditional means of, like, reporting and all that stuff, the more it definitely unravels a person. Like, I don't know how much of Mama Max was, like, himself versus what he engaged in. You know, it's like a nature versus nurture thing, but for people who hunt pedophiles on YouTube videos. Also, by the way, just like really, really broad strokes, isn't it like really fucking weird that we like have this as like a form of entertainment now? But yeah, that's not on Sly Boy specifically. I don't know what the guy does. I just remember hearing about the shit that was happening to him. And aside from that, he seems like a all right guy, right? Like, I'm not saying this to like dog on the guy or like anything like that. That's just like my take from doing this a while. Let's see. And the animated show Villainous and some of the work on the series Paranormal Paranoids was featured in a recent found footage adaptation known as Shelby Oaks. His channel also received some viewership from being broadcast on television. Wait, what the fuck? Really? Oh my god, I'm dying. Hold on. God, my throat. Dude, the time of the year. He also... Don't laugh, Diesel. We're sending you Shelby Oaks when it's time to retire. Oh my god. Broadcast on television via local networks like Paranormal TV and its affiliates. I'm gonna get my fucking videos on Tubi, guys. You guys gonna watch me on Tubi? Has been featured in ARG magazine and interviewed for a few different horror websites for his work on YouTube. He also served at master ceremonies at the annual Halloween-themed furry convention known as Furpocalypse in 2018, 2019, and 2022, hosting the opening and closing ceremonies for those events. I want to share all the roles here to illustrate his presence, influence, and significance to the community that surrounds various online horror projects and events. Okay, so let's be real here. Every time you're like, here is the guy's accolades. Also, he's a secret piece of shit. Let's just be clear that when you say, you're not saying this for context. You're saying this because you're trying to set up a kill shot. Okay? You hate the guy. But, so polite society dictates that you can't just get onto a Google Docy and say that and people take you seriously, right? He served as an inspiration and voice of authority within the genre for the better part of the last decade. However, unbeknownst to many of his casual viewers and the general audience, he has a long history of exploiting, manipulating, and taking advantage of both his closest supporters and some that once considered him a friend, until they began to question or criticize actions he has taken throughout the past decade. Throughout the document, I want to illustrate a pattern of behavior through a history of scandals and incidents that have occurred several times throughout his online career and how he responded to them, as well as exposing his more general audience to some of the lesser-known things that he's engaged with behind the scenes, including emotional grooming of at least one fan over private DMs. I gotta know what that means. What? I encourage you to read this entire document. Okay. Going back as early as 2017 and as recent as 2025, Nick has a long history of drama, scandals, and bad actions that I want to document here, ranging from repeatedly ignoring the stated boundaries of a friend, ostracizing and condemning those he had personal disagreements with, lashing out at fans, and victim blaming. But I'll let you be the judge. Okay. In 2017, Nick's earliest issues involved him singling out certain creators that he claimed were copying him. During one instance, he came into conflict with two channels of note, Rainbot and Nexpo. Some of his grievances at the time included people simply using the word night or nightmare in their names because he believed they were too similar to his own, going after smaller channels and creators for this, and for other reasons, until the backlash became significant enough. While many of the tweets and posts from this drama are now deleted, a trend that will come is that Nick has a habit of trying to cover up his tracks when the optics aren't in his favor. So, like, 2017, this is like 8 years ago. This is almost 8 years ago. Yeah, didn't Nick and Nexpo collab a few times? Clearly, whatever issue there was, they've gotten over it. So, like, if Rainbot and Nexpo have both made amends with Nick nearly 7 years later, who cares about this, right? Any beef they would have had in 2017 is pointless if the guy's, like, all kind of mea culpa in the end, right? Like, there's no real point in us belaboring the point because the people involved have reached a conclusion. Like, I don't necessarily care either way, you know? While many of the tweets and posts of this drama are now deleted, a trend will continue as Nick has a habit of trying to cover it up. Expressing criticism towards these creators and the content they produced until they smooth things over. Let's see. Sorry for being a bit late on this. I'm usually more punctual with replies. The most recent drama involves the altercation between Rachel, one of his patrons, and himself. The basic gist of this is that Rachel criticizes Nick for not having... Wait, what? The basic gist of all this is that Rachel criticizes Nick for not having a vent channel on his patron-exclusive Discord, frankly a reasonable request, and made some threatening statements within the messages to Rachel. Another person pointed out that Nick might have misgendered May/Nick's fears, but who knows if we'll ever get a clarification on that. Speaking of May, she confirmed on Twitter that Nick stated he doesn't have a vent channel because he didn't want people to give people a hug box, which is outlined in this post as being ableist. Oh god, wait, Nick the ARG guy? Yes, Nick the ARG guy, but you know what? I'm beginning to think he's gonna be all right, chat. Ironic because Nick can be really fucking gay about shit sometimes. Guy, I will say this: he is a Tumblr era gay millennial furry. Which he's entitled to be. It's not an indictment of him. It's just like, vent channels are a terrible idea, right? So I had in the Diesel server, I had like I wanted to do confession streams because I thought it would be funny. And then I made confessions private because people immediately started using it to vent. Even though that wasn't the express purpose, they were like, I'm gonna kill myself and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, brother, I know who sent that. I know you can't see and that it looks anonymous, but it's not anonymous from my end, okay? I'm just too stupid to go check. That's really the gist of it. Speaking of ableism, Nick has had malfunctions in recent and past with it. I don't have any links as a buffer on this one, but Nick retweeted a tweet using the R slur, but the screenshots are still there. You should totally check out this uninspired ARG that's half based on shit that already exists. It's like people don't understand that the purpose of your channel is to highlight creative and new indie content, not to give attention to the binary I am God retards. It's not like Nick was... Okay, dude, this is like exactly the kind of audience you'd never want to court. You could make the argument that he didn't see the slur. Dude, it was like that R slur was going to take out a gun and shoot somebody else in the head, dude. That's scary. You could say he didn't see it at first and deleted it once he realized, but considering he didn't apologize to my knowledge, I'm going to go ahead and call it as him wanting to cover his own ass. This person exists in such like a apologize to who? The royal Leeton community. This tweet sparked a decently long discussion on the issues with how Nick goes over and analyzes horror material. As for older dramas, I'm going to need to do more research and find more tangible sources. But from my memory, Nick went on a huge Twitter rant about how smaller horror YouTubers, I believe Rainbot, Nightmare Expo, Mr. Nightmare, who he was ranting about, were stealing his thing. aka discussing horror material in a calm voice while having night/nightmare in your name. The only document I have of this currently is this Reddit thread, but hopefully I'll get more substantial stuff on this. Another thing of note in general is that Nick has changed friends/his inner circle quite often. You don't need to be friends with somebody forever. Well, you could chalk it up to just drifting interest or just moving on with your life like an adult. The fact that it happens so often is indicative of some off-color behavior. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are you a fucking Dune Mentat rolling your eyes in the back of your head to analyze every single thing that Nick Nocturne has done in a social situation? Closing out, I don't have any knowledge of any other dramas prior to this, but these more recent occurrences are not anything new with how Nick acts. In regards to Undercooked Gate, a series of dramas referring to the creepypasta podcast Undercooked Analysis, Nick was formerly a frequent guest on the show after their video in 1999, a controversial series which plagiarized Ala Tutorial, but that is a story for another day. This was one of his friend circles, David, Alan, and Dead Palette, who most had issues with Nick, which he put in his own words here. Okay, so now I gotta fucking zoom in on this because Tumblr. So Channel Zero is a show adaptation of Candle Cove, a poor one. I message executive producer Max Landis. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. All right. So this is a alleged former friend of Nick Nocturne, Dead Palette. So Dead Palette messages Hollywood parentheses legacy artist Max Landis on Twitter, saying the adaptation was off the mark. A very soft criticism, if you ask me. Why did you send Max Landis an unprompted criticism? Landis was rude to me, but that was the end of that, or so I thought. A bit later, Nick Nocturne contacts myself and another person in private, telling us not to critique Channel Zero. When I asked why I would fulfill such an odd request, Nick became abusive towards me. I continued to question him, and it came to light that Nick is friends with Max Landis. So he privately admits that Channel Zero looks lackluster to myself and others, but was planning on making a video covering it in a positive light. Nick phrased his relationship with Max as a supporter. Take that as you will. But that's completely gross for both parties, as Nick was trying to keep this relationship under wraps. So Nick is privately trying to silence critics of shows his friends make. All the while, he's claiming to be a journalist to myself and others. How he doesn't understand that this made things 100 times worse, I don't know. After telling him he was being a dick, he apologized by asking me to work for him for free, writing and voice work. This is really funny. The Max Landis mention is fucking funny. I didn't accept for two reasons. Firstly, I don't get paid in publicity. You can't curry my favor with it. Secondly, he wanted absolution for something he did that was clearly unethical. I wasn't willing to give that to him. I stopped responding to his messages. In the following months, Nick would start contacting mutual friends, asking if I was still mad. He was emotionally manipulating our friends into trying to get me to work with someone I didn't want to work with. I know he was manipulating them because he tried the same stuff with me, repeatedly insisting we were friends because we chatted for like 2 hours for a show. I think he was doing it because he didn't want me to go public with this, but I have no intention of doing that or making a further comment about Channel Zero. I was just done with the situation and him. I expressly told David not to have Nick on our show. He agreed. Alan knew I didn't want him around, and Nick obviously knew, as we had one last 30-minute Skype chat where I told him I hate drama, but Nick loves that stuff, as I know this wasn't the only drama focused around him behind the scenes. His fans might not like that comment, but Nick Nocturne is dishonest and isn't afraid to lie for friends. I don't want there to be confusion about this. I'm leaving UCA because my co-host couldn't accept my request. I didn't make issues about them working with him on other stuff, but a show I helped build has been hijacked by someone that has no moral filter. I'm sorry to everyone that liked my presence on the show, but this situation isn't workable. David picked the promotion over his friends. Yes, this is real, not a joke. I don't know what's happening with the I can't read that. Sorry about that too. Who is Max Landis? That's a really funny one. Okay, so Max Landis is the son of the guy who made the Blues Brothers, I believe. Let me double check that. Yes, he is the son of John Landis, who made the Blues Brothers. I am fairly certain. Let me hold on. I have the Wikipedia up. Yes. So he created Chronicle. You guys have probably seen Chronicle. It's kind of a classic. He also wrote the movie Bright, which is bad. Bright is terrible. I like the concept of Bright. I don't like the execution. And I'm kind of like burying the lead here. Max Landis was caught up in Me Too. He was accused of sexual abuse way back then. And yeah, his career has never recovered from that, by the way. But yes, he was also on a very terrible episode of Best of the Worst. So yeah, the orcs are black people guy. But yeah, he's kind of a hack, if I'm being honest. I think he like just nailed it with Chronicle, and then everything else after that has just been a terrible shit festival. Like, that's the only way I could put it, you know? Isn't he basically just a Nepo baby? We don't use that term anymore. It's a legacy artist. Yeah, he's a full-on Nepo baby. Yeah. Sure, but being a hack isn't damning. Yeah, that's not what's damning. It's the sex abuse. It's the sex abuse that's damning. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Nightmind is probably not friends with Max Landis. Because if this is happening in 2017, this whole stuff where the Max Landis like horror thing happened the same year that he got Me Too'd. Let's see. Here's another one. What caused the beef between Nick and Rainbot and Mr. Nightmare? Nick made a series of tweets blasting people for making unoriginal content that he claims blatantly copies his content. I can't remember what he wrote verbatim, but he had mentioned wanting other creators to avoid having the same initials as him and not using Night or Nightmare because it's too similar to his name. Some other creators, yeah, Rainbot's a name I haven't heard in forever. I liked Rainbot's content back in the day. Some other creators had called him out on these posts, and it just quickly devolved into a huge mess. I won't name other channels as it's redundant. Cue dramatic tension because there's a lot of angry tweets. Let's see. So it's just people talking about it. Yeah, Nightmind is the show. Nick Nocturne is like his online handle. Nick is Nightmind. Well, Nick has patched things up with those mentioned here to my knowledge. This is the beginning of a long trend that'll go forward. So, like, you can't, like, show him having beef with people and then making amends and then going, look at how bad he is. Because when I read this, it's like, okay, Nick had, like, a beef with these guys and then they made amends. Okay, so, like, what am I supposed to take away from it? You know, there's, like, nothing there to take away from it. It just ends. I was confusing him with Nick Crowley. Well, you know, what happens when you put 3 white guys in a lineup? You get a podcast, okay? For future reference, Nick's fears is May Litz. Following this, the most significant drama of Nick's early career came from a creator known as Nick's Fears, also known as May. Nick's and May collabed on a stream in which Nick invaded their space and touched them without their consent in a way that made Nick's feel deeply uncomfortable. Despite repeated attempts to express their discomfort with this behavior, I'm sorry, I can't fucking speak today. He persisted and believed he had done nothing wrong in the aftermath until the backlash became significant enough, claiming that Nick's had backstabbed him and betrayed their friendship until the truth came out on the matter. Rainbot is still going great if anyone's interested. She got even better at her stuff. I would hope so. That's good. That's good, honestly. Let's see. Nick's documented their feelings in his now deleted post. I'm about to read something else ridiculous, aren't I? It's a web archive link. That's going to take a minute. Another Tumblr post, Chad. Another Tumblr post. All right. Hey, love. So let's talk about dysphoria. It can manifest in a number of terrible ways, and growing up with dysphoria can be difficult because often it goes unidentified. You look at yourself and hate yourself and feel powerless to fix it, but you tack it down to just an inherent ugliness. There are a billion things that make me dysphoric, but my biggest dysphoria trigger has always been my explicitly masculine hairline and forehead shape. My Cro-Magnon makes me look masculine is rough. Damn. Because of this, I've worn hats since I was 14. Every single day without fail. It became kind of my thing, but it stopped me from experiencing painful dysphoria. So now this post is going to get very sad and bad. I'm going to preemptively warn you if you have severe dysphoria triggers. So Nick Nocturne came to visit me in July of 2017. We spent around a week together and had an all right time. But when I think about that week, I can't help but think about one specific thing he did and how it affected me. Now, it's important to point out that at this time, I was not openly trans to him, or anyone really, but that shouldn't matter a ton in regards to this. Nick was fascinated with my hat and wanted to see what was under it. The first conversation about it, he asked candidly what I was hiding, and told me to take it off, and I said no. He kept pushing me to take it off, and I very directly say no. And that's the end of the conversation. He brought it up vaguely a couple other times, but this all came to a head during a live stream. We did exactly one live stream while he was here, and it was awkward and weird and ended very badly. He didn't want to appear on camera, as he, ironically, is very guarded about his appearance. By the way, I remember knowing what he looked like before he, like, you know, showed himself off to, like, the internet, and I was like, damn, you're handsome. Like, why aren't you on camera? And he was just like, I don't know. So he wore a cat puppet on his hand and then put that in the shot with me and answered questions, which is something he has done. The stream is fairly broy and stupid, and I wouldn't say it represents me well, especially now. But it's also horribly awkward because he kept rubbing the cat puppet, his hand, on my body. There are several moments during the stream where you can kind of see me cringe because I didn't know why he was touching me so much, and I couldn't escape or say anything because we were on stream. It then gets monumentally worse when Nick says, I think I'll take this, and tries to take my hat off on stream. I was able to save it, but the damage had been done. My dysphoria was beyond damage, and 5 minutes later, the stream ended because my soul had left my body. Immediately after the stream, I asked him why he would do that. When I firmly told him no, he lied to my face and said it was an accident, and he just meant to pet my head, which is weird anyway. I think I'll take this. Nick Nocturne tried to humiliate me intentionally on a live stream after using my captivity to touch me without my consent. Okay, all right. You are not a captive. Like, him petting you with his cat is like weird. With his cat, 100% weird. I'm not even gonna try to justify that, right? Other than going, furry, you know. But it's like, you didn't come out to him. You never told him any of this, and you didn't like your idea of setting a boundary was, I'm gonna leave this mystery box on my head. Like, he doesn't even know that he caused you dysphoria because he didn't know, right? You're treating it like he did something extremely transphobic, but if you don't talk to the other person and tell them those things, you're going to be in a position where those awkward faux pas happen because you just don't know. Like, if I accidentally misgender someone because they don't tell me their pronouns, I'll feel bad, but it's just like, I'm not going out of my way to do it to, like, you know, make them feel like shit. I didn't know, you know? Yeah, I am live, so I have no agency to say no. Yeah, he was being obnoxious. Absolutely. Absolutely, he was being obnoxious. Forgive me for being dark woke or whatever, but we gotta remember that we can be a reaction to someone else's actions, but your feelings are your own. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Diesel misgenders me all the time when he says cat instead of cat. It's all on video. Yeah, a lot of drama's either this person is a sex offender or like I'm mad that this guy's successful, and it's like nothing in between. Google Dockies are blackpilling me. I'm gonna go click on this and nothing is gonna show up. Yeah, okay. Well, not surprised. Hold on. Dude, it's like loading up YouTube in the wow, crazy. What a fucking surprise. I'm gonna try and play this and it's not going to be there, so I'm already knowing that this is like a where can I find this? Oh, crazy how the video is private now because it's been nearly a decade. Twitter.com, dear viewer, like every other Google Docky. I know someone who gets mad when people at work who they're not out to misgender them, and also gets mad at people who correctly gender them because they're outing them. Sometimes you can't win with people. Okay, if I knew someone like that, I'd be like, all right, why are you being so difficult? Like, why are you being so difficult? My fan fell off my camera. 1 second. I need to keep a fan on my camera or my camera falls off. There we go. I fixed it, chat. Yeet me the link. Sure, let's try it out. I don't have a lot of faith for this one because it's like as old as you could possibly get. But feel free to try, I guess. Also, May would go on to have other people slinging similar allegations at her for making them uncomfortable, so it's crazy. Wow. Well, you know. I can do one better. I knew a chick who didn't come out to me because she was angry I was dating a guy she liked. Neither of us knew she had a thing for him. We've been together for 10 years now. As an NB, my coworkers would make more of a scene about misgendering me than I would. It was so awkward. Because you know what I've noticed? Majority of the time, assuming the person isn't like a fucking lunatic, they'll like respect you and then also feel really bad and apologize profusely. You know, I'm sure we've all had that like social faux pas situation where we like, oh my God, I didn't notice you were vegan. I'm so sorry. Or, oh my God, I didn't notice that was offensive to you. I'm so sorry. And then they're like bending over backwards and your entire like you're just like, dude, just move on. It's not that big of a deal, right? But like, the way that society be tells us that these are like some of the biggest social sins you could commit. So it's like people who go out of their way to say like, I'm sorry over and over. Someone close to Nick's, Skellyfish, was also present during this collaboration and reported their experiences with Nick in a now deleted post that you can find in a Reddit thread surrounding Nick's post right here. Nick's, okay. IMO, the best way, basically during his time staying at May's house, Nick acted in a very incredibly condescending way towards Skelly when the two of them met and tried to isolate them from May. Skelly talks about it a bit here, but like, this is gone now. Let's see. Here's what Skellyfish said. I will say this. I was there when Nick visited that week, and when I met him, he was condescending to me. Spoke to me like I was a child who didn't know anything about YouTube. Mansplaining things to me. This is so of its time, guys. Holy shit. I mean, when he did speak to me, that is, he really made me feel othered. He seemed like he wanted me to leave whenever I was around. So I was only around for 1 or 2 days, even though me and May spend like most of our time together, especially at this time. Now that we can't spend time apart, it was just rude. He just kept trying to isolate May and ignore me. He assumed I watched all of his videos and referenced them frequently, especially when trying to tell me how to make videos without me even asking him to tell me how. I don't watch his videos. He basically impromptu decided to fly out for a week and disrupt our lives, and then we just had to cancel anything we were thinking about and just conform to his schedule. Whatever he said, that week was a total shit show. Mansplaining, yikes. Oh my God. Oh boy. Did you go over the chat logs yet? They're stupid as fuck.
I had a friend that was a vegetarian, and I didn't know until she told me she couldn't have beef ramen.
It
I
was
said
a
sorry and
collab.
we moved on.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have been, they would have known that he was coming because it was a collab. It wasn't like they just, it didn't happen out of nowhere. He didn't just pull up at their door and be like, house me, feed me. Like, this is actually that bad. You knew he was coming, and then you still have a eat me, drink me, twist me, bop it. When I discontinued our friendship, I lost many a friend and supporter, felt dejected and miserable, felt like none of them would hear my side. I've kept quiet for over a year to prevent further damage. There's a lot more, but this really is the worst thing Nick did to me. This incredible victim blaming right here on this day. Nick was the second person I came out to when I eventually did, because he kind of made me tell him. I don't need a reason for personal boundaries, and I'm sorry, but in what ways is him touching me somehow my trust issues? As well as noting Nick has a long history of hiding behind his work as a noble cause, using it as a shield to deflect criticism, while also putting down others who tried to do the same in the early days, and acting as though he was an arbiter who makes a web series good. I've had people misgender me over the internet, and I'm a cis woman. People kept calling me by he, him, or they, them pronouns. To be for real, they don't know my gender, so I can't hold it against them. Well, you know, the presumption on the internet is that the person that you're reading is always a man. Women just don't exist on the internet, okay? You gotta go through the internet assuming that it's all dudes, dude, you know? Women got important stuff to do. They gotta be shopping and stuff. I don't need to tell you how he constantly talks about his channel as a good deed of promoting indie creators, only for him to turn around and shit on people for trying their best. In response to all this information, Nick did a lengthy apology that I'll get into in the third section of this document. And while Nick did eventually forgive Nick in the following years, I'm not convinced he's changed. Every time I get to the bottom of one of these pages, they're like, well, Nick made amends with the offending party and everybody apologized to each other and they're all good now. And you've done this twice now. I've gotten to the bottom of these pages twice now. And you've been like, Nick made amends. Another furry groomer colored me surprised. Literally not what this is, one. I know I put that in the thumbnail. Or what did I put in the thumbnail? Let me double check what I put in the thumbnail. I don't remember because I'm stupid. Yeah, this person does accuse him of grooming, but it's incorrect. Also, it's the year 2025. If you're assuming everybody that's in a niche fucking community on the internet is a pedophile, you have brain worms, okay? There's like millions of fucking furries out there, the same way there's millions of people who play fucking video games of Genshin, okay? You can't just go around assuming everybody's a pedophile, you fucking idiot. Anyway, let's move on to another one. I think we're getting close to the grooming one, speaking of. In the aftermath of the incidents with Nick's fears, Nick also came under fire for some of his behavior in his own Patreon exclusive Discord. But the Groypers Diesel... They're actually probably pedophiles, but that's a different story because that's a fringe political philosophy. But my confirmation bias, I just wanted to get that one out of the way, you know. I feel like I see it all the time, you know, where people are like, "Oh, I assume this group of people is all this thing." It's like, okay. All right, white race savior. You're a lot browner than I remember, but you could just sit down right now. In the aftermath of the incidents with Nick's fears, Nick also came under fire for some of his behaviors on his own Patreon exclusive Discord server. One of his moderators, named Rachel, wanted to create a safe space for his fans to vent and feel comfortable. Terrible idea. Nick objected to this idea, and he didn't want to create a hug box for people. This behavior is documented in some archived Tumblr posts, such as this one. Nick is completely in the right in this situation, by the way. This is abuse. I know whatever I'm about to read is the most wackadoo shit ever. Some highlights of the messages can be seen here. Rachel. This shit is tough, but for your own best betterment, you have to look in a mirror and say, I'm a fully grown and competent 28-year-old woman. I'm an adult. One simple statement. Copy and paste what I wrote if you want. You don't need to talk to him. Just confirm that he's getting across. And let's end this here and now with no more squabbles. And please, Rachel, please, you and I squashed our beef, hatchet buried. Please stop sniping me. We're done fighting each other and lying about it to ourselves and each other. Moving on with the day now. Just copy and paste, pick yourself up. You can do this. Let's roll on. And if I see a single message, tweet, Tumblr post, anything from May attacking me on your behalf or any other form over this, you and I are forever done. You understand? This is you and me and you, as adults. No side people or third parties. Let's keep the respect and maturity. Deep breaths now. Calm time. Do what you gotta do. If I was the woman reading this, I would have fucking flipped out, dude. Oh my god. So Jess Jess screenshots this and then posts it on twitter.com, to which Nyx, the aforementioned currently beefing with individual, then responds. No dice. Yeah, I had a feeling we wouldn't be able to get that one back. Hi, May. I'm Jess, and I really hate bullies and toxic people. Maybe they're referring to a different May. I think that Nick has won. There's no way anybody else would go through the rest of this document and not go, these people are meant to, these people, by the way, chat, are in their mid to late 30s now. Okay? They're in their mid to late 30s, and this is how they're acting. All right? I can't even imagine being so fragile at the age that I am now. They are, yeah, this is like this is Gamergate. This is Gamergate behavior. But yes, this message from Nick would send me fucking flying out of my chair, okay? She criticized him for a couple different things, a couple bad jokes, and refusal to put a venting space in his Discord, even though folks wanted it. Look, sometimes you people don't know what you want, okay? Sometimes you need to be directed by the leaders of society like me, okay? What now? I love mocking Gamergate. Look. It was about ethics in games journalism, and then I was also a teenager, and so then I decided that I actually really just wanted to be a white nationalist. I'm not saying there was a through line. I'm just saying it started with ethics in games journalism, and then I went to go see Milo Yiannopoulos speak. And also, every single person that I went with to go see him speak was Latino. There was a Peruvian, a Mexican, and a Puerto Rican. A Peruvian, a Mexican, and a Puerto Rican walk into a alt-right rally. They actually find out that they're speaking in Spanish for the event. She criticized him for a couple different jokes, blah, blah, blah. While abuse specifically refers to a pattern of behavior that is impossible to verify through screen caps, we are here documenting the fact that Nick Nocturne is known to treat fans of his work in such a condescending and dismissive manner. I would love, okay, you know, I know this has happened because it happened with Scarlet Reaper, where I'd be like yelling, like when I yelled at that guy in the chat earlier, right, who's probably already left by now because he just couldn't handle my woke mind virus, right? But like that's like somebody taking something that I did on stream and being like, look at how condescending and rude Diesel is to his viewers. They simply want to come and watch a stream, and yet here he is telling them that they're dumb and stupid and have nothing but wrong opinions. And it's like yeah, what? Like, I didn't know that I owed my, like, I understand not being like a humongous asshole to the people who watch you, but like, I'm not gonna give like all this unnecessary jerk off to you. Like, well, it's not gonna happen. She game on my ethics into like journalism. That's exactly what happened with Nick Fuentes and that sultry femboy he saw. You know. I'm a righty and I hate Gamergate too. Smash JT is my favorite lolcow though. Gamergate was like my entire introduction. I cannot even begin to tell you how insanely like fucking I was like the quote unquote educated racist, okay? I've told this story before, okay, but it was really bad. It was really bad. I wonder if the people I know are in politics now, because I'm still in our group chat, and the group chat is just filled with N-word this, N-word that, N-word, 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 joke about the Jews, joke about the Holocaust. And I always think to myself, it's like, what if I went back and I published those? So Ben Shapiro, we were trying to get Ben Shapiro to speak at a consortium of our colleges. That was another thing I tried to do. But yeah, we would have our meetings, right? And we would watch PragerU. But then I got like an in with esports, and then I like a chameleon became woke. Well, I really did become woke when I got laid, though. It turns out that I wasn't like really dedicated to the cause of of authoritarianism. I was actually just like really pent up as a man in my 20s. You're telling me people watch PragerU unironically? We watch PragerU in a group setting in a library. And then after we finished watching the PragerU video, we had a discussion where we all sat around and agreed. I'm not kidding. It was really the definition of a hug box. Like, actually. What was another thing we would do? There's definitely more. That's just what comes to mind. You circle jerk to PragerU? Yes. Yes. Yes, I did. Dude, I gotta be honest, there was definitely an alternate reality, like, universe. They were like, I know for a fact that they were grooming me to be like a young conservative voice back in the day, because I got tons of special treatment. They sent me the trainings on how to be a professional agitator. I'm not fucking joking. What if some of those guys went through the same character development as you later on? That's a good point. That is a good point.
Are you seriously watching PragerU all by yourself? No. I'm with the racism team.
Also,
the
racism team was majority Latino. Majority Latino. Groomed into a mouthpiece or a cat boy. There was no Charlie Kirk at that time. So there was no Charlie Kirk at that time. And there wasn't like a youth whisperer, right? There was this like Nick Fuentes guy that was just starting. And so I got the trip to go see Milo Yiannopoulos. That was one. Well, there's no Kirk now. well, if Erica Kirk has her way, we might see another one. Yeah, so I got the trip to go see Milo Yiannopoulos. They gave me tons of training. They wanted to give me like a scholarship. They were like, you should switch to political science, blah, blah, blah. I got a trip. They gave me a free trip. So I lived in Worcester, Massachusetts, right? So it wasn't like a crazy thing to get, but I got a free trip paid. It was a weekend. They gave me a paid weekend trip to go to this beautiful hotel in Boston. And I spent it with other conservative youth activists. And I legitimately met the lady who filmed the Trigglypuff video, right? So there was like a lady who filmed that, and she was like a professional activist. And how gay was it? It was actually very boring and quiet, and everybody was very awkward. I wasn't like as like flamboyant and excitable as I am now, right? This sounds like how a gaycation starts. I was actually kind of lonely on the trip because I was like, I wasn't with any of my friends. I didn't really jive with the other people there. And it was just a weird experience. But yeah, we would spend basically all day in that like play. We were just learning how to be professional activists. And you know, like how to organize rallies. And then the Unite the Right thing happened, and it was just a real big, it was a real rough time for everybody. Shit, what was another thing? It was just it was quite the eclectic group. I also met Rand Paul. I also met Rand Paul. There is, I'm not fucking joking. There's a photo of me with Rand Paul, chat, and it's somewhere out there in the ether. I went to like a youth conservative action meet, and he was the speaker. And he was a speaker, and he was there, and it was like it's not like it's like the Babylon Bee. There was like they did a thing that was like the Babylon Bee. They were like a conservative version of the Onion, and there was like a guy that was like that there, and I spoke to him for a bit, and they were like being like, oh well, you like to be an entertainer, like, you know, maybe you'd be able to say whatever jokes you want with us, you know, you'd be able to do whatever you want here, like it would be great. And then when that big like rally happened in Boston, and like the anti-fascist and the alt-right like clashed in Boston, I had a friend who went, and he got hit with a baseball bat over the head there, and he had to get his head stapled shut. Does it bleed from the eyes? Let me see if I have it on my phone. Hold on. I'm gonna check right now. There's a very good chance I don't have it though, because it's on like a really old phone. Damn. I actually like suffered twink death, chat. It's kind of crazy. I might be able to find it. It's like a 7% chance. Okay. Here's me when I was in Boston. When I went to Cambridge. I can't show these photos. There's somebody in it. That's right. Some of the most vocal members of our group was a Chinese guy, the Peruvian guy, and myself. And I got both the Chinese and Peruvian guy in on it, dude. I'll you know what I'll do? Okay, I can't. I'm not even gonna show you that photo, dude. I was so sauceless.
Baba Bowie.
Internet politics are all gay. Go outside and talk to real people. Read legislation, go to city meetings. Vote. Stop being gay, unless you're actually gay.
That's crazy. Stop being gay unless you're actually gay. That's so woke of you, honestly. Dude, it was crazy times back then. What the fuck? It was really crazy times. I was definitely a capital F slur though, dude. Holy shit. Oh my god, some of the memes from that time are in here too. It saved my memes, chat. Oh my god. Diesel, what were Boston and Cambridge like? Cambridge is pretty nice, not gonna lie. I like Boston. It's probably my favorite city. It's kind of like really hard to choose between that and New York. Yeah, they're both really good. Boston is like really nice and walkable in a way that New York City can sometimes be a little sprawling. Different parts of Boston are nice. Not all of them, but I generally like both. Anyway, we got on a really humongous tangent. There's definitely photos of me from the rally. I'm never going to show them to you guys. You can't judge. My teenage self had a /B memes folder, borderline the same thing. Yeah, I actually, it is unironically that bad. Like, it's filled with that shit. And it's so cringe too, because like a lot of it is just like not even funny. The joke is just like, communist, am I right? Like, that's it. That's like the whole joke. Let's see. There's also messages from Nick referring to Nick's May from earlier, providing context to their past issues and the nature of the relationship at that time as well. Point blank, you play nice and be general. Stop giving moments of sarcasm and shade at myself and others like you're trying to get away with this passive aggression and pushing off everything. Your head's been filled by the most unforgiving and begrudging person I've ever had the misfortune of being stabbed in the heart by, and you chill out. Be nice, be casual, roll your eyes when you see stupid things and move on. No lectures and more tiny statements to get away with pissing down my back. The hug box thing is completely he won, okay? Is this the dead palette stuff again? It is. For a time in 2018, Nick was a regular guest on the podcast called Midnight Marina, as well as a spin-off entitled Undercooked Analysis. He moderated and participated in several conversations about various horror topics of the three main hosts. These were David, Alan, and Brandon. Brandon was also known as Dead Palette. Alan and Brandon, blah, blah, blah. Another friend of Nick's is a close friend of Dead Palette was Slime Beast. For those familiar, was fairly well-known creepypasta writer in the early days of the genre. He was also a regular guest and participant in the podcast for several discussions. Who the fuck is Slime Beast? Should I be aware of who that character is? Also in 2018, Nick was sponsored on his Patreon by a Hollywood producer named Max Landis. Whom he also considered a friend. Max Landis was later outed as a sexual predator during the speaking out movement in 2018-2019. Well, that's just wrong because it happened in 2017. Because that's when he got accused. It's on here. Sexual assault. In December of 2017, Landis was accused of sexual assault by a former coworker, Anna Akana. Anna Akana! Wow, it really is a small world, dude. Mad Magazine editor Ali Goetz and commented several weeks earlier that I can't imagine who's scared in a post-Weinstein world than a famous director's son. Okay. Slime Beast had drama with Plague Moth. That's why the name's familiar. Yeah. It's crazy how those things go around in a circle. Anna Akana has been around for a while. She's not a YouTuber in the traditional sense. She's like one of those people from like trad media who became a YouTuber because of her trad media associations. Let's see. And it is during the speaking out movement of 2018-2019. And his reputation before the scandal was said to be an open secret in Hollywood. I don't know how much that lends a credence to any of this, by the way. The earliest allegations during his own scandals came out in December 2017, which predates his association with Nick in 2018. I mean, one, aside from the fact that, like, it's very possible Nick wouldn't have known. One, because I didn't know about the stuff with Max Landis until I was like, way post the event happening. Yeah, I don't keep up with Max Landis's personal life like that. Landis had purchased the right to a few popular creepypastas and wanted to produce content for a show titled Channel Zero, bringing them to life. So, like, here's, like, okay, Landis take, aside from the whole, like, rape allegations, which, I mean, famous director's son, I mean, I don't know, probably true, right? If I'm throwing stones, I think it might hit him. Max Landis is cringe, and here is why. Max is a Nepo baby who desperately wants to be accepted by new gen media. Criminal allegations aside, the guy is like a fucking loser chasing the coattails of YouTubers for a crumb of clout. It's actually kind of insane. Okay. It's cringe when he hopped on Red, like 100% he asked to go on Best of the Worst. Okay. 100% he asked to go on Best of the Worst. Every time he uploads like a YouTube video, it's like for the purpose and express want to court viewers from the internet. He wants to be a YouTuber. Okay, he wants to be a YouTuber, and he knows that because he's famous director's son with a bottomless wallet, that YouTubers are gonna be extra nice to him. But really, like, who actually gives a fuck? All right, I think it's a tragedy that creepypastas, which were probably terrible, ended up being bought and being held into possession of this hack fraud who is not creative at all. Also, like, I would not be surprised if Landis's entire relationship with Nick starts and stops as transactional. I don't think Landis was sitting in Discord VCs with Nick Nocturne chopping it up, okay? It was probably more like Landis sends an occasional message and he's trying to court Nightmind because he sees Nightmind as a creative that he could use to get a leg up for his own personal career. That's definitely how Landis views the situation. I would think he definitely sees it as transactional, all right? Maybe Nick's gullible. That's possible. He wanted to make sure people he associated with didn't criticize the show too much to stay in Landis's good graces. Dead Palette and Slime Beef both took issue with this, especially Brandon, and Nick proceeded to become frustrated with them not forgiving him. Wait a second, we just fucking went over this. We just went over this, so we're just gonna fucking skip over this. During a private discussion I had with Slime Beast throughout the course of my research, he personally I can't fucking speak. During a private discussion I had with Slime Beast throughout the course of my research, he personally recalled this story to me in the following way. As far as I recall, Nick had Max Landis as a Patreon sponsor and wanted to not only keep him as such, but probably getting good with him for a movie/TV producer. That Best of the Worst was so bad, Rich Evans couldn't save it. Max Landis bought the rights to some creepypastas and put out a TV show called Channel Zero that Dead Palette and I figured was going to suck. Nick approached Dead Palette and I to ask us to not publicly diss the show because he wanted to keep connected with Landis and didn't want to be associated with people speaking ill of the project. I thought it was lame, but dismissed it as whatever because I hadn't planned on talking about the show anyway. After all these months, I saw how it turned out and I changed my mind. Lol. Dead Palette took it more personally and was really grossed out by the supposed friend asking him to censor himself publicly to keep Nick's money and connections secure. The two of them had a falling out privately, with the understanding that Nick wouldn't come back on the podcast. This is the same thing the person has said. This person is just... okay, I don't want to say that this is filibustering, but we've already read all of this. Sometime after the other podcast hosts went behind Dead Palette's back and had Nick on an episode he wasn't around for. So Dead Palette quit the show and walked away from the co-hosts as friends as well. He was really getting treated like shit for no reason. I do think it's very telling that both Slime Beast and everybody else seems to say that, like, the podcast existed as friends, but Dead Palette kind of sees it as, like, just business. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't, like, really, really rough when Loudmouse ended. Like, yeah, obviously it was, like, a business thing, but ultimately we were all friends. The podcast wouldn't have worked if we hated each other, you know? So it's like, it was like a friends lost thing. The podcast was also old settled drama. Yes, which is another thing. Nick publicly made a Tumblr post that went on and on and on about how he shouldn't have asked Dead Palette to censor himself, but then he really laid into blaming Palette for being mean, reacting poorly, all that shit. I mean, post hoc, it kind of sounds like maybe you should have walked away from it, Dead Palette, but you know, we're like 7 years later, right? Basically, it comes down to Nick putting money and influence over friendship. How much money was Max Landis giving him, dude? Probably wasn't that much. Fucking what? John Landis better take away that credit card from his fucking son. Former friend getting really mad at that, and Nick still trying to play the victim the entire way through. He also provided a link to an archived video detailing Nick's own response to the incident, and Dead Palette refusing to forgive him that you can find here. Did Slime Beast actually agree to this? Because it kind of does seem like this person is just like weaponizing something that was already hashed, right? Like, does Slime Beast have like an axe to grind against this, or is it just like this person maliciously lied to get Slime Beast to open up? Because I definitely feel like this person is capable of that. What is this? Who is this?
Hello, party people.
How the fuck did this fucking 800 sub Andy get a Nightmind interview, dude? What the fuck? Why? Why this guy, dude? Why this guy?
Doing something different this week because we're joined by a very special guest.
That's too much for me, and I need the life in nature. I need to feel something is still alive.
Why? Why did he? Why? How? Slime Beast is also known for holding grudges forever. Well then that's okay. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think at max I can. Maybe I could do like a 3-year thing. I think this, even in the last 2 years. Look, I save a lot of people's. I'm a lot nicer than you guys could possibly imagine. I know I sound like an asshole when I get on stream, but I've had like 3 or 4 dramas that I kept private because I didn't want to torture the other person. And then I just was like, let me just move on with my life. And I don't ever think about it until somebody brings it up. That isn't me. You know, like I don't keep it there. I've moved on is what I'm saying. I don't know. It's just not healthy otherwise. You just can't. Very few people do I expend that kind of energy for, you know? Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, there's like maybe like 3 guys. 4. Yeah, 4 guys. 4 guys that I actually hold a grudge against. But like, I'm not like, I don't like make it my motivation. You know what I mean? Two hours long. I'm not watching a 2.5-hour video. Slime Beast is notorious for holding on to stuff forever, so I wouldn't be shocked if the writer didn't even really have to probe. Yeah, I would argue that, like, just I wouldn't, even if I have like beef, I'm just not gonna give it to every single glup shitto around. You know, you got to build a sense of rapport before I start doing that. See this thread summarizing this video and discussing the issues on Nightmind subreddit here, noting that much of the post Nick had written was factually incorrect and designed to make Dead Palette look worse. I love how people saying they're done with Nightmind while still commenting on the Reddit board of this channel. I remember when I thought Slime said he was banned for criticizing Nick, yet I see the guy in the link not being banned for the same thing. A lot of this, who gives a shit about this fucking podcast? Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? It's so long. It's been so long since this event happened, and this is like literally a who megalog gives a shit. All right? Assumedly, I would hope that Nick Nocturne is not friends with Max Landis anymore, for the love of Christ, right? But beyond that, it's like, who the fuck gives a shit about this fucking podcast? All right? Who really cares? All right? Fucking move on. When he isn't forgiven, he lashes out a response and brand the other party as a bad person when he isn't getting the response he wants. The people who are under no obligation to forgive him unless the evidence is overwhelmingly against him. I'll touch more on this later. But has Nick Nocturne changed? We need to know. I don't necessarily I don't know the guy. You know, I've interacted like once, twice, like thrice max. In 2018, Nick began covering a short film sharing platform known as Crypt TV. To my knowledge, these videos are still publicly viewable. He covered this platform and promoted it, giving it a favorable view. However, he didn't express at the time that he was a collaborator with Crypt TV and stood to gain from the platform's promotion. Slime Beast also covered this issue in a video here. All right, this one's 16 minutes.
Hey, what's up, guys? Slime Beast here again. Okay.
I didn't really pay attention to the Plague Moth slime drama. Is it like too? Am I not reading enough into it to say that Slime Beast kind of gives me like crazy person vibes? Plague Moth also does, but like, can I like accurately paint these two men with the crazy person brush? Is that reasonable enough?
Okay, so small video just to get some evidence out there, get some stuff out there, just so it's posted somewhere that it can't be deleted. Yeah, I found some information recently that I posted up somewhere, and of course it was removed, and I was banned. So I have to put it somewhere, so I guess it has to go on my channel. I don't know. I tried to, go the other route, post it somewhere else, but as you can see, nothing's ever safe unless I post it on my channel, which is why I have to put everything up here all the fucking time. But yeah.
What creepypasta did Slime Beast write? What did he write? Which one did he write?
Anyway, over on my other channel, Tormental, I do a show with Abysme and Dead Palette called The Hyperrealists, where we talk about stuff going on in the creepypasta community.
Abandoned by Disney? No fucking way. No fucking way. Emperor has no clothes ass situation. What the fuck?
And yeah, so recently something came up with Crypt TV, which you may remember I've talked about in the past with relation to Nightmind. I had no interest in anything Nightmind was doing. I wasn't looking at anything he was doing. I didn't really care what he was doing. And then he brought me into this whole problem by writing a blog post, mentioning me by name and giving misinformation about me. So I had to make a video explaining what the misinformation was and try to clear up the record about what was going on and blah, blah, blah. All this drama shit that goes on. So yeah, Nick dragged me into it, had no care about it, had no interest in it. Now I'm in it. So the Hyperrealists episode, as I mentioned, was going to be about Crypt TV because one of us had found, not me, one of us had looked into the contracts that they use and how the contracts are kind of almost usury, I would say, not necessarily, just in my opinion, not necessarily totally usury, but kind of heavily skewed toward we can use your idea even if we don't, pay you, that kind of thing. So yeah, we're going to do a thing talking about Crypt TV, talking about its contract, etc. Now, I, like an idiot, decided to do some research into Crypt TV before we did the episode talking about the contracts and talking about Crypt TV trying to buy its way into the creepypasta community by, forcing its characters at the forefront and different things like that. So yeah, I did some research, and I found evidence that Nick Nocturne from Nightmind...
I don't want to be mean, but this guy gives me Lio Convoy vibes. I don't know how to like quantify sometimes when you look. I just sometimes you get like a guy and you're like, I think this guy's something's wrong. I don't want to be so reductive, but like that's really where it starts and stops.
Was working with Crypt TV before he posted his supposedly unbiased review. Yeah, Nightmind posted up a...
who... Unbiased review. I mean, if he didn't disclose that he was getting like financial compensation for the review, that is a problem. But then in the same breath, like an unbiased review, what are we talking about?
Review of Crypt TV, or basically a thing hyping people up for it, telling people to check it out. Nick said that he just stumbled across this channel. It wasn't marked as sponsored, it wasn't marked as biased, it wasn't marked as anything where Nick was collaborating with Crypt TV or working with them or talking with them. It was just posted up like a completely normal, everyday, average video for something Nick had just found on his own, randomly. But yeah, that kind of was questionable. A lot of people sort of questioned whether that was...
I guess if the stakes were like higher, you know, because this is all like content put on the internet, sometimes, most times for free, right? I don't think Crypt TV or whatever the fuck this was had like a big budget behind it or whatever the fuck it was, right? It's all just kind of like glup shitto, small internet stuff. You know, the stuff that doesn't exist anymore because we're all on the same 3 websites, right? Slime would also copyright strike readings of abandoned by Disney series. Well, that's what is it? Antithetical to the idea of creepypasta, even as a noun, you know, because creepypasta is, you know, copy paste, copypasta. Like you share a creepypasta around. So that's kind of against the ethos, right? But like, I don't know. It's just like the stakes that you've described and the stakes of this situation are so like in the floor that I'm just kind of like, it's like, was anybody like really making bread from this? Because the only people making bread were making videos on YouTube. Whatever Crypt TV wasn't making money. You know, it's all nothing. Like it's such a Crypt TV made some good horror shorts that got popular, but they're still a pretty low view channel. Yeah, well, it's like this is so like it's so nothing. You know, if this was about like AAA video games, I'd be upset.
This reminds me of those videos and channels that try every other month to expose popular YouTubers for their sponsors. Like VPNs or Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. Crypt TV became a streaming service. Well, I'm sure it's not around anymore. But yeah, it's just this feels like not really worth the energy.
Actually true. Later, months later, Nick put out a video saying that he was indeed working with Crypt TV, but he made it sound like it was a new thing. Like he wasn't working with them back when he did the review. That naturally made people even more suspicious, because people were like, well, if you're saying you're working with them now, why are we to believe that you weren't working with them before when you gave your unmarked review that wasn't supposedly sponsored or anything like that? So yeah, flash forward, I guess that's probably enough backstory. People probably already know about it if you're watching this channel. I don't know. That's enough backstory. We'll move on to today, where I had done some research for the episode of Hyperrealist that I was going to be in. And during that research, I looked at the LinkedIn profile of some of the people who worked at Crypt TV to see, like, what, you know, where does Crypt TV come from? Where do the people come from? What is Crypt TV? What sort of expertise do these people bring to the field? You know, that type of thing. So I looked up the LinkedIn profile of Alex Gross. Now, this is a publicly known employee of Crypt TV with a public LinkedIn profile who is listed as an employee of Crypt TV. This is not doxing, because the minute I posted this, to Nick Nocturne's, you know,
who I gotta be honest, who gives a shit about this? Who cares? I get to know the media executives behind a niche internet horror shorts YouTube channel. Oh, brother.
Fans on his Reddit, it immediately came up that this was doxing, and it's like, no, you know, if you talk about Rupert Murdoch as the head of Fox, you know, Entertainment or Fox News or whatever, that's not doxing Rupert Murdoch. He's a public employee of a media company. You know, if you talk about...
Yeah, but this guy's not Rupert Murdoch, dude. We're talking about some serious degrees of separate. One of those is like one of the richest people on planet Earth. The other is Alex Gross, former NYU Stern School of Business student.
Somebody who works for CNN as an anchor. You know, you're not doxing them. They're a public person working for a company. It's not secret. This isn't somebody with a pseudonym. This isn't revealing the fact that, oh, you know, I don't know, Baron Fist from the creepypasta wiki who doesn't want his identity known. Oh, that was really Alex Gross. I'm not. It's not somebody with a pseudonym. This is just a guy working at a place with a public profile saying he works.
For context, this is also around a time when creepypasta authors wanted to be taken seriously and not seen as people who write stupid baby horror stories online. They all were terrible, okay? They're all bad, all right? They're all fucking corny and lame, and the entire purpose of them was to have a scary little campfire story that you share around on /X or Reddit or twitter.com or wherever the fuck you copy and paste things now, okay? Like, that's all it was, okay? It was all like a debate, something awful knockoff situation. Nobody, like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's scary stories on the internet. Yeah, you should be proud that you wrote a scary story that people remember, but, like, you gonna do something else?
Works at that place. So yeah, I gotta address that right away because there's gonna be some knuckleheads who are gonna say, oh, it's doxing. But yeah, no matter what you do, people are gonna do that anyway, so I don't know why I bother. Alex Gross.
You didn't say Twitter to every... Oh, shit, yeah, Twitter, but aka the X, the everything app, also known as X.
Employee of Crypt TV. If we looked at his LinkedIn profile, we see that he's in charge of audience development since early 2017.
So I really need to know what the fuck this has to do with Nick Nocturne now.
So he joined the company early 2017. Previously worked for like Full Screen and different things like that. His motto is always be consuming. Yeah. He's interested in social strategy, like YouTube channel growth, and so on and so forth. If we move on down the line, we can look at his list of accomplishments, his list of experiences. Now, one thing you may notice about this is that the dates of things that have happened in his list of experiences are from 2017.
Okay.
Now, this will be important. Remember this. This profile appears to have been written in 2017 because the dates in it are all 2017. Now, there's one date in 2018 where he says, I would like to have 1 million subscribers by 2018. So that's like a future projection. He's saying, in the future, in June 2018, I hope to have 1 million subscribers by that point. But every other date here is 2017. He's saying, we achieved a goal by December 2017. Our chat.
Jesus Christ. For a fucking author, he sure fucking beats around the bush, dude. Holy crap. Brevity is the soul of wit, my son.
Chatbot on Facebook. Our chatbot is the #1 chatbot as of December 19th, 2017. The dates seem to put this in 2017. Now, could this be wrong? Anything can be wrong. So basically, this is evidence. It's not proof. This is evidence.
I mean, yeah. Motherfucker could be lying on his LinkedIn.
Of something. It doesn't prove something. I should clarify that because people get confused. But yeah, #1 chatbot as of December 19th, 2017. Now, as of would likely mean that this was written on 12/19/2017. Because if you say, I'm the most wanted bachelor in my town as of this date, that would mean you're saying it on that date because you're saying, in the future it may change, but as of right now, I'm #1. That type of thing. So this would seem to place this profile in 2017, December 2017.
Yes.
Now, if we go with this exact date, this would have been written on the 19th of December, 2017. All right, you got that? Remember that?
Yes.
December 19th.
Yes.
Moving on down the line.
December 19th, 2017.
And here we see that also in his list of accomplishments, he has influencer collabs. So people he's collaborated.
I think if you put that on your LinkedIn page, you should be fired personally.
with that are influencers for Crypt TV. Dang Matt Smith, Julia Kelly, Nightmind, Mr. Creepypasta, Scare Theater, Koali Pops, Dead Meat, Founder Fricks, Big Nick, Reacticorns, Reaction Time, Creeps McPasta, and much more. As you can see, Nightmind is listed as an influencer for the company. So he is, this is without a doubt, he is an influencer for the company. Period. He is an influencer for Crypt TV. There is no question about that, unless unless we want to say that this employee of Crypt TV is lying for some reason on his resume. I don't know, maybe.
What do you... Why would you even mention that? Yes, people get on the... It could all be a lie, actually. That's the problem. Oh my god.
But yeah, if you want to believe that, you can believe that. But yeah, so now the question becomes, since we've established that Nightmind is an influencer collaborating with them, now the question becomes, when was this written?
Yeah, well, yeah. So the question is, so there's two things. When was the contract finalized? And when did this guy, like, there's also a possibility this guy preemptively added Nightmind to his resume before the contract was finalized. Well, we just don't know.
Remember what I asked you to remember, that this appears to have been written in December of 2017.
It appears. But you don't know, dude. Why don't we use the Wayback Machine? Like, fucking...
Could be wrong.
Yes, it's like the way he's like wording it is like he's like undoing his own argument himself, right? Like he's unraveling the state, like he has a position of which he wishes to convince us on. That is clearly the reality of it. Simply just say that, okay? You're trying to do a little bit of both right now, where you're not trying to do that and also trying to do that. So just do it. But then two, we don't know. You need to do a little more.
Most likely right. People give me shit because they're like saying, you haven't proven this. You haven't proven beyond a shadow of a doubt it's true. Yeah, no shit. I'm just giving you the evidence and saying to you, it's possible, it's likely.
This is kind of Lyle Convoy coded.
Or it's very likely. And in my estimation, my personal opinion, my subjective opinion, it's very likely, based on what we've seen here, that due to the dates on this profile, due to the fact it says as of December 17, it seems very likely that this was written in December of 2017. And, as we can see, it includes Nightmind as a collaborator. What you will notice on this profile, if you check it out, is there is nothing on this profile that is written past 2017. Like, there's nothing where it says, as of 2018, I'm doing this, or I started this job in 2018.
Well, yeah, I don't know, like, who updates their LinkedIn that often? I don't update my LinkedIn that often, dude. I don't know, like, yeah, I have it. I start doing a thing in 2016, and now in 2018, I'm still doing the same thing. It's like this guy was a creator at Heartship in 2016, and he's still a creator now, 2 years and 1 month later, you know?
There's nothing beyond 2017 written here.
I really don't care that a small horror filmmaking company is trying to cling to a much bigger content creator. Of course, they're going to cling to anything that they can use to get out there. Yeah, and influencers don't mean paid sponsors, but Nick did announce that he became a sponsor by them after shouting them out a few times. Not surprised. Not surprised. At some point, you're going to get that bread for giving positive coverage. I wouldn't be surprised. Access journalism or whatever. But then also, I mean, I just am not... When I go to watch like a scary video about things on the internet, I'm not looking for like hard-hitting critique stuff. I'm just kind of like looking for a guy to explain to me the horror shorts that I'm not going to watch and give me like a good read through of the story, and that's it. I'm not really like looking for editorial coverage of horror content. I'm just looking for a guy to explain the plot to me. I'd hate to say it, but why the fuck do we all watch long video essays of video games? We don't watch it because we want to know the guy's opinion. We watch those videos because the guy explains the plot over the course of 3 hours while I'm doing the laundry, dude. Okay, like that's why you listen to a Nick Crowley or a Nexpo or a Nightmind, right? I'm not going to them for like their editorial opinions on the quality of this horror content. I'm going to them so that way they can spookily tell me the story. Yeah, second monitor content.
So, take that for what you will too as further evidence, though maybe not proof, but evidence this was written in December of 2017.
I feel like in the same breath you're using evidence as a synonym for proof. Am I wrong for making that connection?
Why is it so important that we establish that Nightmind, Nick Nocturne, was an influencer collaborator working with Crypt TV in December of 2017? Why is it good to establish that Nightmind was working with them at that time? Well, if we look at the video Nick put up, Crypt TV and Online Horror Wonderland, where he claims that he just found the video, it's not marked as sponsored, not marked as a collaboration, not marked as him being involved and biased, that was posted on December 28th, 2017.
Abandoned by Disney reading Vin Diesel. Well, I'd much prefer not to get a copyright strike by whose it, what's it has been, but like, I think we'll live without it.
So, the profile appears to be written in December on the 19th, and less than 10 days later, Nightmind's video goes up, where he says that he just happened to find this channel and they're really cool.
They could have just like shot him a cold call email, and then he was just like, "Yeah, well, I need a video out."
This would appear to be evidence that Nightmind was working with Crypt TV and posted a fake review video to hype up the show. And when I say fake review video, I mean, you know, a biased review video, a review video.
I don't ever think of the Nightmind videos as reviews. I've never ever watched one of these horror guys and gone, "This guy is reviewing that media." It's all bad too. Like, I don't like all of these online horror things are just terrible, dude. Very, very infrequently does it meet the standards that I have for my own personal enjoyment of Hollywood horror.
By someone who was working with the company he was reviewing.
Who gives a shit? I'm sorry, who cares? This is Land Before Time is getting a reboot movie. Well, you know what I heard? I heard that Rush Hour is coming back. The president complained that there's no new Rush Hour movies. I think I want them. So we're gonna get a new Rush Hour because the president keeps asking for it. Noting that blah blah blah. Okay, so there's that. In the early days of his channel, Nick has expressed great love of this project known as Tribe 12, along with Marble Hornets and Everyman Hybrid. All three were influential and well-received Slenderman projects that Nick covered in great detail in several different series, comprised of several parts each. Tribe 12 was a favorite of his, and he invited the creator onto his channel for his annual Candy Bowl special in Hollywood of 2018. They're more like summaries, light interpretations. You'd listen to Nightmare because he's a nice voice, not groundbreaking media interpretation. Exactly. Ruby, you're correct. Thank you. You succinctly explained what I was so poorly trying to explain. Literally that. Thank you. In 2020, it came to light that Adam Rossner, the creator of Tribe 12, who played a lead role of Noah Maxwell, had groomed and emotionally manipulated several fans in private chats and calls over the course of preceding years. You can find an archive of the timeline of the scandal here. So, Nightmind... Okay, we can't... What you're doing here is you're trying to say that Nightmind grooms, but it's these other guys that groom, okay? It's these other guys grooming, but you want to say Nightmind grooms via his vicinity to the other guy. Wow. I'm not gonna be that guy, but I'm not reading all that. He reached out to Nick when all this information came out, and Nick defended him briefly before backtracking as evidence became too great to deny any longer. Rushing out a lengthy statement condemning Noah and his experiences with him over the course of the scandal as it unfolded, playing the victim and eventually deleting it when the feedback he received turned against him. We'll cover this apology in the third section of this document. Yeah, groom by association. In late 2022, Nick began streaming on Twitch, eventually adopting a VTuber model after joining the VTuber agency known as Astroline. Alongside Merryweather Media, Fred Kudnson, LumiTuber, Alfie Hyde, and Aofi as one of its founding members. More on Astroline later, but for now, I want to focus on Nick himself. Oh boy, what is the VTuber Corpo stuff? Is this like actually like what is this now? He began uploading some VODs from his streams and promoting his work on his two channels shortly after this, but he received some negative feedback from some members of his core audience. In response, he uploaded a video, Here's the Plan, in September of 2023. While the video is long since deleted, comments and the response from his audience on the subject, subreddit, and wider community discuss him cussing out his fans, telling them to leave if they didn't like the new content. You can read about it here. Well, yeah, I was... So he was going on his main channel and dumping VODs. That's actually crazy. I would never. What caused this? He wanted to make a point, but cussing out your audience isn't good. I think I should be allowed to cuss you guys out, actually. Basically, he hated all of his coworkers at the company, and when he graduated, he started talking bad about VTubing as a whole and how everybody sucked. Wow. I don't know why this guy can't stop winning. He can't stop winning, chat. I think I'm gonna go refill my water. My mouse died. What the fuck? Oh, my OBS. There we go. I'm gonna go refill my water. I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty, chat. I'm thirsty. We'll put on. Where's my piss music? I can't find my piss music. Oh, here's the piss music. So we're nowhere near done with this document, but this one is pretty fucking bad. I was thinking about that while I was away, where I was like, wow, this guy is just like, I just can't fucking give a shit if the guy's like, well, first of all, it would be hypocritical of me to be like, oh, I can't believe this guy yelled at his audience, you know? So that would just be hypocritical of me. I just couldn't, you know? Or like the other stuff where it's just like completely just like nonsense. D never yells at me. Why would I want to give you something you like? That's really the thing, you know? He didn't even yell, just scolded. Anyway, I put some electrolytes in my water. Who doesn't yell at their audience? You gotta keep the fucking the masses in check, man. You gotta keep them in check. You don't want them like going crazy, you know. I gotta keep you guys in line. Let's see. Backlash was significant enough that he seemed to delete it within 3 to 4 months based on what I was able to find on the Wayback Machine. So it's like, okay, he uploaded content his audience didn't want, which, like, yeah, I don't think he should have done it on a Nightmind channel. He yelled at his audience, and then he deleted it, and then that was it. Oh boy, didn't this guy get accused of grooming? In 2014, the Mandela catalog guy got accused of being a pedophile or something. That's not what the article. That's not what the article. That's not what the Google Doc says, but that's what it's saying. Nick was one of the several who jumped on the bandwagon, railing against him, and as a result of these accusations, you can find several sources detailing this piece of drama, including several YouTube videos documenting the case, with Reddit posts serving as the final word for the most part. Yeah, they aren't even mentioning everything else related to VTubing. Nick backpedaled on this attack quickly and put out an apology that was criticized by many for still putting a lot of blame on Alex for not understanding power dynamics and characterizing the ex's actions as noble despite their express intent to destroy Alex's career due to their own grudge/vendetta against him. So he backed the wrong horse. Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, this is bad. This is hardly cancelable as an offense. If he got grilled for it in the time, then good. I think he should have been grilled for it in the time. But then, you know, now it's like this is not a cancelable offense. As you expect by now, his posts involved in this drama and his final apology have been deleted and wiped from the internet at this point. But someone on Reddit managed to salvage his post to provide further context here, as well as feedback for the community surrounding the Mandela catalog. I thought he was still a groomer, to be honest. I didn't know it got reconciled or settled. Nightmind posted an apology in a way. I think it was well said. Let's lay the issue to rest and learn from the experience. My only issue with this is seeing Ven's POV as noble in a way entirely downplays the deep-rooted transphobia that fueled this entire call-out and the damage done to children in Ven's effort to demonize Alex. Several of the other victim statements, especially for minors, point out that they were not uncomfortable during any of their interactions until they were later told a fetish that fueled the interaction, at which point they felt uncomfortable and violated. A major example of this was when the 14-year-old fan artist who said they would have never engaged with Alex had known their cosplay chats were full of were to fulfill a fetish. That fetish was just Ven's transmisogynistically implying that any and all instances of Alex exploring gender identity and wearing dresses were for a fetish. Fucking old. I'm fucking old. I don't have the fucking wherewithal. What are you, 30? 27. It's the new 30. It's the new 40. The new 60. Put me in the home. Put me in Shelby Oaks, chat. Put me in Shelby Oaks and lock away Chris Stuckman's key. You're gonna all... I'm literally drawing Diesel in a dress right now to spite. So, I'm sorry, I'm relying on chat, but chat, what is the guy pedo? Did Nightmind back the wrong horse? Is that what I'm hearing? It sounds like he backed the wrong horse and got owned for it, rightfully. Hey, look, man, if you're not either the groomer or the groomee, you don't need to say shit, okay? You were a third party in this, Nick Nocturne. You simply could have stayed quiet. This shit's making me evil woke. Yeah, Nightmind backed the wrong horse. Alex was just trans. This really recontextualizes the Mandela catalog, you know. In the most recent incident of September 2025, which is why he took a hiatus from streaming for over a month, Nick played the game known as Lollipop Chainsaw Repop on his live streams for Twitch. During the stream, individuals in the chat expressed concern about the developers of this game. The second I read Lollipop Chainsaw, I knew exactly where this entire conversation was going. I don't even need to read the rest of this to know where this is going. Noting that the developers had issued statements prior to the game's release that were critical of DEI initiatives and policies. Nick has previously and currently expressed opinions consistent with the support of these policies. Yet, when these concerns were raised by his chat members, he took on a condescending and dismissive tone towards the concern of these viewers. Oh my god. If you ever chat, if I get giga famous or something and people start fucking whinging at me in chat to be like, Diesel, did you know this person is bad? It's like, I'm gonna be like, listen, man, I'm enjoying this thing right now. I don't give a fuck. All right? Literally Hogwarts Legacy all over again is exactly what I'm doing. All I'm hearing is Nightmind is based. I know, they're winning me over to his side. Right? So I remember, isn't it crazy that James Gunn was like one of the leading creative voices behind Lollipop Chainsaw? Which, by the way, I remember James Gunn in an interview, like basically clapping back at the journalists that were like, you know, this is very objectifying of women. And he, like, James Gunn had like a really, really good response to the games journalist. I can't remember what he said, but it was a really good one. But yeah, I've never seen, I've never heard of anything related to, if anything, I've heard Lollipop Chainsaw dogged on for being like objectifying of women, but I've never heard any of this DEI stuff. That's all new to me. And also, I don't know, I would say that Lollipop Chainsaw is kind of woke in like a emancipating kind of way, you know, like the same way Bayonetta's woke. I think Bayonetta's woke. There we go. Hot take. Boom. Send tweet. Let's see. Look it up. Nah, we don't do that here. Wasn't Bayonetta designed by a woman? Yes. Bayonetta is a woke queen. Nick is Nick, you support these policies, yet you engage with media that does not support these policies. This is literally the you live in society, yet you try to criticize it. The DEI stuff was because of the re-release, but if I remember correctly, it was taken out of context. Oh. You'll get blocked by Camilla if you send that tweet. Oh, didn't they have the James Gunn response was good, guys, trust me. He took on a condescending and dismissive tone towards okay, no, but like seriously, and this is getting really common, and this ultimately comes back to the thing I talk about quite a lot, where it's like people's media literacy is really bad, but people, like, if something makes people feel bad or uncomfortable, they equate that bad feeling or uncomfortableness with their like own personal life has been like infringed upon. It's like sometimes like these things that we watch are meant to do that with intention. Like you create that with intention of making a statement, you know, but there is like this growing anti-intellectualism that is like, if I ever feel bad or uncomfortable in any situation, then I am suffering at the hands of an unjust society. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, you sat down to experience this media and then complained about it. But then on top of that, you are like assuming yourself to be the victim of something that the character is experiencing or something like that, right? Like, let's say like a movie has like, I don't know, like it's themes about like toxic masculinity, trying to keep women down and like subjugating them. I don't know, fucking something like a fuck, what's that book with the ladies who live in society hat? I haven't read it. I can see the cover right now. It's written by Margaret Atwood or something, right? Am I even knowing? Do I know the author and not the book? Handmaid's Tale. Thank you. Right? But that's like looking at a Handmaid's Tale and going, I don't like this because it explores themes that make me uncomfortable, or like, this is specifically for people who might be, you know, part of that minority group or something, right? Like, I don't think this should exist because this puts women in a demeaning spot. Boom. The ladies who live in society. Right? But it's like that kind of stuff where it's like, you're just like really, you're missing the point, but then also you aren't experiencing the empathy that the piece of media is trying to give you, so that way you could like become a more empathetic person, right? Because you should empathize with those characters that are suffering at the hands of that tyranny. But because you're so self-centered, you think me. All you can think about in that context is how it offends you, not about what damage it does to the other person, or in this case, a character, because it's a piece of fiction. That's why I'm of two minds about trigger warnings. I grew up long before they were a thing, and yeah, finding out about dark things as they happen was hard sometimes, but also life. I don't even think, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm writing a book. I made the conscientious decision to just be like, it has a trigger warning. There's a trigger warning in the beginning. And then I also explain why a trigger warning and like why I'm also making it, right? Where it's like, you know, this book just like explores colonial themes and themes of things like genocide and blah, 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 right? And I say all that, and I say, you know, this time in history had a lot of that, and we had two options: to ignore it or explore those themes and face them head on. We felt it would be unfair and inappropriate to ignore them, so we're tackling them head on. And that's what we did, and that's what we've done. And I think and I say we because it's like a small team. I'm not there's 2 writers and like 5 artists on the book, right? So like this is like a team effort. So that's why I say we. But it's like, you know, you say that, you explain why, you get on with it, right? So it's like, if you don't like it, don't read it. Take what you want from it, which is also something I say. Trigger warning list more like a menu from a darker romance enjoyer. Jesus Christ. I'm not sure if it happened to the media first or the people first. I know far too many people, including myself, who got told your mental illness symptoms are giving me panic attacks. I don't know. I could definitely say that since 2020 on, there's been like this kind of like undercurrent of like never read books, always be scrolling and all of that. So it's kind of hard to say. I don't know which came first. Though I do think that you should read book and engage with media, but then also you need to like read it critically. I don't know. I think there was this kind of like, it's hard to say which came first. Because there's a lot of academia that was like trying to push the whole like, we need to be very, very inclusive to everybody, even at the expense of discussing things that are adult. And then also conversely, those are people. So like, did it start with the people, or did it start with like some institution, or like where did it generate from? Let's see. The dismissive Toad and Nick continued to praise the game for several hours until the backlash began to mount on Twitter and Blue Sky from viewers who had been banned from expressing their concerns. All I'm learning from this is that Nightmind's audience sounds terrible. I would never, ever, ever. I don't like whatever audience he has. I I cannot stand like the overly like preachy, let's keep everything safe and secure type audience. You know, I definitely like I like the audience with my streaming platform more than I do on my main channel. Like I've been very open about that. Like the people there have always been just like not the kind of people that I think I'd like to meet in real life. Insufferable woke gooner audience. I think that's my current audience, actually. To be clear, the content of the policies themselves isn't the primary focus here, but rather Nick's apparent support of them, only to disregard or belittle the concerns of others that he was praising a product made by people who explicitly oppose those policies he claims to support. See, the only way that any of this, like, works for this is, like... It's like Nick has to support DEI, but like the only way Nick will ever like placate these people is if he kowtows, stops playing the game, and continues kowtowing because it'll never be enough for them. It's strange because Nightmind has never shied away from those darker topics more so than YouTube's policies and actions require him to. It's interesting. I feel like the horror audience is generally a very woke audience. Or at least the pseudo intellectual horror community, I would say, is that. Are people just saying DEI instead of diversity? We are Charlie Kirk. I see more about Charlie Kirk now that he's dead than when he was alive. That's impressive, actually. It's going to be crazy when Erica Kirk gives birth to JD Vance's wedlock baby. It's going to be crazy. It's actually going to be so crazy because we're actually going to see the birth of the Great Deceiver, guys. Are you guys ready to die in the final judgment when the Antichrist comes to deceive us all? Guys, we need to all propagate out into the world. Not only that Erica Kirk is pregnant, but that she is actually and truthfully going to birth the Antichrist, okay? And that this is a problem and that the world is going to end at the hand of Erica Kirk's baby that she had with JD Vance, allegedly. Or Jesse Waters, I don't know, pick one. Where will Usha Vance be in all of this? That's a good question. We got to figure out where she fits into the rapture narrative here. We just got to say this, you know, when you're with your family at Thanksgiving, I need everybody tomorrow to be like, yeah, I'm telling you, Erica Kirk is pregnant and we have signs. 666, those lightning bolts, the lightning bolts that Charlie had on the Take America Back tour, there was 6 corners on each of those. 2 of those is 2 6s. What's 2 times 3? 6. 6, 6, 6. We're talking about the Great Deceiver being born. Think about it. Charlie Kirk talked to so many people. He was a great debater. He changed so many minds. But a child born outside of marriage is a child that was propagated through lust, through the work of the devil. That's how we know that this is going to finally be the time that the Great Deceiver comes back and tries to trick the entire planet and will fall into a great dark age. And that's how we know that eventually at the end of this, Jesus Christ is going to come back. But Diesel, how do we know the Antichrist isn't already among us? Yeah, debates start with D. What else starts with D? Devil. Listen, I think the big old DT is too old to be the Antichrist. Mr. Beast, the jury is still out on, okay? Look, there's a lot more here. There's a lot more here that we could get in on, okay? Erica Kirk was wearing a lace pantsuit at her recent showing that she went to, which was also very strange. But she's actually a very vocal widow. It's very odd. But but what happens when women wear lace? It means that they're showing off their body. She's engaging in the sin, right? She's engaging in the sin that she couldn't have done when Charlie was alive, because Charlie knew, and Charlie was trying to keep her back from committing this sin, okay? But now that that's happening, she is openly showing us through secret coded language that she is not only pregnant, but she is secretly pregnant with a child of lust with the Vice President of the United States. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. All right. I'm just asking questions. When was the last time you guys heard about Charlie Kirk's murderer? You haven't. You haven't. That's how we know that the devil is already working his way through the deep state. Did I just get Christ milled? Crazy stuff to hear when I just tuned in. Who let Unc cook? No. Chat, for the love of Christ, do not mention Q. Not my mod. I'm talking about the guy from QAnon, the QAnon guy. Don't mention him, okay? We need to make sure that this, like, no. So don't mention him, but like make illusions that this is related to that, okay? We want to kind of work this into the QAnon narrative, okay? We want this to become a part of the mythos, all right? So we need to mention how that there have been agents of God working through the deep state to try and stop the Antichrist from being born. But an agent of Satan working from within the deep state, which is the only reason that he was able to get up to that vantage point and shoot Charlie Kirk, was through help from the deep state, because how else would you shoot that shot? It's from too far away. It's from too far away. It wouldn't work. You wouldn't be able to. It's simply not easy to do that. Is this just your plan to have our Thanksgiving be fucking wild? Chat, I'm telling you, this slots right in, okay? New end of the world theory, we're doing it. Yes, you guys got to understand, there's been a secret war between the angels of heaven and the demons of hell, okay? And right now, Satan's winning, all right? We know Satan's winning. We know that Erica Kirk is pregnant with the baby of J.D. Vance, and that baby will be a boy. And that boy will lead to the end of humanity. How does this predict the rapture? So the coming of like the Antichrist is supposed to come before the rapture, right? So they're supposed to come and then basically lie to bring people into a one world religion, but it's actually the work of Satan.
You know, it's kinda crazy how lefty and sexually conservative modern horror fans are given how horny classic horror was. It's like they all took the Friday the 13th message of "if the teens would stop banging, my son wouldn't have drowned" way too seriously.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I wonder how much of it is like a result of like us all being on our phones all the time or something. Whether the baby is non-binary, more evidence that the baby is Satan's progeny, you know. My conservative mom has called every Dem president the Antichrist. Listen, this all works into a much larger global narrative, okay? Are you going to bring all this stuff up to your family at Thanksgiving tomorrow? Antichrist tier list win. Good question. Let me continue reading this. I'm getting off topic. How Nick made himself look good coming out of it. He was called out by several people on social media. Actually, fuck it. I sent this DM to someone, but I'm gonna make it public too. Hashtag Nightmine. I was sitting next to my friend, who's on their 10-month subscriber message. Asked Nick to address that why he's banning people for bringing up the developer's DEI statement. This is just people. This is just some guy complaining. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Performative apologies. Yes, Nick is trans now. Well, as far as I know, you haven't killed a civilian, so I think you're good. They really made a jump cut scene instead of coding, jumping, blah, blah, blah. Which one you're signing, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit about any of this? I'm reading something that says thirst trapping and Riz the Rabbits, and I'm very interested to see that. Is this DOCCY worth anything? No. I think Nightmine's gonna be just fine. Let's see. Since the late 2010s, Nick has engaged in a series of questionable behavior towards his closest followers and supporters that's progressively escalated over the past several years. As noted earlier, Nick began VTubing in late 2022 and became a founding member of Astroline in 2023. From the beginning, Nick was known to have a flirtatious and sexually charged personality. In his own words in his debut live stream, he views carnage or carnality as connected in his mind during a portion where he describes his fondness for not safe for work content. Okay. His avatar mascot character model of the four-eyed cat demon is, in his own words, an incubus. Many of the people he has interacted with in this way have more than 10 years younger than him. Sometimes as young as 18 or 19, while Nick himself is in his mid to late 30s. It's clearly not for a fucking minor audience. Like, I talk about sucking and fucking and sucking all the time, dude. Like, so an adult. Yeah, also that. Dude, they're an 18-year-old adult minor. We got a 19-year-old minor in the room. Like, yeah, literally just VTuber stuff. I'd like to cover some more egregious content here for those who aren't familiar with it, as well as instances of initiating contact with a fan over DMs and their personal account of what they went through in their time with Nick. Well, there are countless examples that can be found on the secondary Twitter account used for VTubing. Nick Nocturne with the little ooh-woos. I'd like to single out some more egregious behavior I've personally witnessed. I've done my research on him over the past several months. This person is like crazy. Can't have goon like it's actually crazy. Can't have food. I can't speak today, dude. Can't have gooner furries now because of woke. Yeah. First and foremost, Nick has habitually engaged in thirst trapping his audience on social media and live streams. Oh, thirst trapping his audience on social media and live streams? Who would ever want to support a creator that does that? What kind of maniac social media influencer would try to thirst trap their audience? Fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. As well as engaging in explicit sexual conversations with his supporters on private Discord servers, including both Astroline server and his own Patreon Discord server. By the way, chat, how do we feel about me? My DMs are open. By the way, chat, how do we feel about me doing an ASMR with Hal? She's asked me multiple times to do an ASMR with her, and I think I might do it. She keeps asking, so. Watermelon VTuber model win. This fucking watermelon's gonna be the death of me. You have no idea. What kind of ASMR? I don't know. You guys should ask her. You guys can ping her in my Discord server. Diesel would never thirst trap. He never even did the watermelon stream. I wouldn't mind you doing ASMR with or without Hal. I want to do it as like I just think it would be fun, but I don't know. I want to. I just don't have time. I think that's a better way to put it. I think once I get Mana Potion Tabletop off the ground, then yeah. Some of these people on the server are as young as 18, 19, often their early 20s with minimal barriers to entry, while Nick is in his late 30s at the youngest based off posts he's made over the years. Here are the few of the posts that can be viewed right now. I would apologize for being the sluttiest cat you know, but nah. I must be more himbo now, more himbo than ever. Now the challenge is obvious. You're the hottest demon alive. I'm aware. Thank you. Oh, okay. Why am I not getting messages like this from you people, huh? What is this? All you guys do is say watermelon stream. What is this? Literally asleep at the wheel. It seems like this month's furry hot take is squinting. Furries over 30, let them into fandom? Question. Why are you be like this when 90% of you advertise yourselves as thirst traps for daddies at cons run by men in their 40s who made that possible for you? Oh my god. Dude, this oh. Hey man, it's not my cup of tea, but I understand why it's somebody's cup of tea. Okay, it's not for me. I know it's not. I get why. All right, it's because we have a generation of people raised without fathers, but you know, I get it. An instance where he received a not safe for work art commission from a Bara furry artist that he shared publicly on his secondary social media accounts and invited people to see an uncensored version on the Astroline Discord server. Maybe the melon stream became real. You get more compliments. Vebiata, not safe for work art goal is fulfilled courtesy of the incredible blah blah blah. Fully uncensored version on the official Astroline Discord. Read and accept the rules. Choose a role. Go to not safe for work art gallery. Enjoy. Well, assumedly the Astroline shit had like a age gating thing, right? Like. Here's a post from the Discord server. I've censored the not safe for work aspects for the sake of this document, but I wanted you to see what he said about it. Oh, okay. We're going to get through all this rape stuff, and now you're not going to show me the furry guy hog? Like, come on. Also, that is a very well done commission, I must say. I need to get something like that drawn. Like, for real, for real. Another not safe for work art piece. Who cares, dude? Who cares? I encourage go make as I've said it before, make as much horrible shit of me as you want. All the members operate 18+ communities. Well, yeah. He's also frequently referred to as daddy or cat daddy by his closest followers on social media and streams. I could see this like document being written by like who else other than Scarlet Reaper, and it's like he calls his audience little guys, and they call him boss or Big D or D. Kind of sus, right? Where it's like we know what you're doing, like. On some private Discord servers that he participates in or owns, and he and his moderators have talked openly with him in a sexual manner, talking about his monster cock on at least 2 occasions that I'm aware of. One of these was on the Astroline Discord server. Some of them even call him Poppy. That's true. Much less so these days. Much less so. I think I prefer boss. I think it just fulfills my end of the fantasy more, you know? Unfortunately, since his page is no longer visible on the Astroline Discord server, since he left the agency in July of 2025, I can't provide screenshots of his mention of it. But I do vividly remember him talking about getting permission from other moderators of the server when I first began learning about all this behavior in the earlier months of this year, saying Monster Cock is okay to share on the server. Oh, okay. That's it. As well as a snippet referring to Nick from the sole moderator on the server and one of the mods on his live stream, Vendorith. If I said it once, then I've said it at least once, but bears saying Monster Cock, Monster Cock, Monster Cock, Monster Cock. Ahem, that'll be all. Thank you. Okay, and I don't have screenshots of this due to this channel not being why, dude? This person just put the fucking moderator on blast for like a Monster Hog, dude. The girlies can't even enjoy like the fucking breeding farm anymore. The West has fallen. I don't have screenshots for this due to it not being accessible, but he also had an explicit conversations with fans about the future not safe for work art suggestions that could be shared on Discord servers. Last thing I'll mention here is this opening section for this item sold for the defeat of his Metal Monster outfit. I can't stop laughing. I think there's a penis there. Hold on. I can't. It's so funny. This is so funny because I've done these exact things as a creator because it makes a lot of money. I think I don't really like it when a body pillow has like full scene. I think it needs to look like you're on a bed, right? Like the ones we make are like, it looks like they're on a bed, you know? Is bro mad about a body pillow? You know, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I mean, I'd have 2 nickels, but it's kind of weird that it happened twice, you know? As well as the announcement on the Astroline Discord server to show they all knew about this as well. The monster fucker portion of horror fans is real. You can get money playing into it. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you, dude? Why wouldn't you? Banning porn on Tumblr definitely destroys society. Holy shit. Why? It's always me and drag. Actually, this was pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. Diesel, you're gonna get exposed for your model's gawk. The much-awaited spicy monster body pillows is here to celebrate Nick's metal outfit debut. The same art is also available in the form of a mini DOCCY wall scroll tapestry and poster for your choosing. In addition, there are 31 Halloween posters, hand-signed by Nick during Comic-Con. Pre-order ends on November 7th. I can't believe that was that entire section. What's your drag name? I don't know what my drag name is. I don't know what I would be. It's one of the more notable incidents in recent memory. And at this point, I want to introduce you to Nick's closest, one of his closest online associates in the form of Ray Chitado. He and Nick have done a lot of work together over the past year or so, including a collab they did on Nick's live channel on YouTube for the 3rd season of Angel Hair. There are several shorts you can find on Roy's channel on YouTube where Nick talks about always being at a baseline level of horny. More talk of being a himbo and so on. Dude, I'm so cooked. I'm literally stupid, but you know. From April of 2025, here's a stream in which Nick and 2 friends, Roy and Shiabun, spend nearly 3 hours thirst trapping their live stream chat using their rapid bass avatar. Imagine that. God forbid you thirst trap your audience. That is. Oh no, chat. Are we cooked? All I could think is like, really, like. This is literally what I do with my audience. Like, it's so fucking funny, dude. If you jork it, you're going to the mental asylum. Allowing fans to submit messages and donations to see if they can riz the trio of rabbits. No fucking way. I need to do something like this, dude. What the fuck? Nick is the middle rabbit here. Roy is on the left. Shia is on the right. What the fuck? Who cares? Video can be found right here with about 3,000 views at this time of writing. Uh-huh. Shia, not Shia. Okay. Shia, okay. Nick has also produced sexually charged ASMR content with Roy on his channel. Cup of Dusk audios on several occasions. Dude, I think I'm cooked, Chad. I think I'm cooked. You and I are a lot alike, Nightmind. You're horny, I'm horny. Apparently, I'm also Duke Nukem today. This is the funniest you and I are a lot alike cliche I've ever. Magic Wave. I'm beginning to think this doc writer got scorned by Nick wanting the... Not, yeah.
Oh hey, Shia is Buff Pup's boyfriend.
Oh, okay, damn. Nightmind X Diesel collab win. I think I'm actually not woke enough from him. He like unfollowed me when I said something based on twitter.com. Conversely, Wendigoon unfollowed me when I said something woke, but you know, who am I? I don't keep track of these things. I just remember them when it becomes comedically relevant. In May of 2025, Nick began producing sexually explicit audio porn for a paid subscription service called Magic Wave. Wait, really? I think I gotta hop on that. That sounds like a really good investment that I should do, dude. These involve Nick either performing on his own and interacting with the listener or engaging in scenes with others, such as Roy and VA Michaela Laws. Wait a second. Isn't Michaela Laws in Yandere Simulator? Dude, I think everything is a... We literally... Time is a flat circle. Here are some advertisements provided for this work, all posted on social media. Nick only promoted the first one, or two he did, but Magic Wave has continued to advertise them whenever he makes them. Yes, she was the voice of Ayano. That's a Yandere chance, VA! I'm actually like, dude, I'm into Hotel California, guys. This is the Hotel California. Is Yandere Simulator your Hotel California? No, it's actually just doing this. It's this as a piece of the cultural context of internet society. Okay? Dude, I don't want to be at the Hotel California. I want to be at the Has-Been Hotel. It's totally different. Phew, okay. I think the knot has gone down. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And full not safe for work collab. Oh my god. Need something to calm your mind? Surrender yourself, devoted acolyte, to Nick Nocturne in his latest audio. Dude, talk about not safe for work. Oh my god. Dude, Michaela Laws, what is the... Dude, we live in such a small world. This is scary. The typical recording session. Bottom energy for you and me later, Nick. Bro's getting the bag. I know, dude. I need to be more of a whore, dude. I didn't even know that these things existed. I could just be like a whore for money online and it would just be like, it would be so much better, dude. This guy's making bank. Shit. I'm not horny enough on Maine. I think. Shit. All right, now we finally get to one that sounds like it might be damning, grooming and manipulation. You should. I know. I know. During the course of my exploration of this content, I was contacted by a former patron that supported Nick in 2023 and 2024. Do gay bait and you'll get extra money, but the craziest fans imaginable. Step up your game. Oh boy. Why didn't the author put the grooming part first? Because this isn't like a okay, so this is I think this is one of those where he groomed an adult. They recounted and provided receipts to demonstrate that Nick had initiated contact with them. They expressed several times that they struggled with with BPD, borderline personality disorder. Genuine question, wasn't it actually good doc you've seen? I don't know. Every time I do one of these streams, I maintain the like memory in my brain, and then I turn off these streams, and all of the drama that I remember falls out of my head like it's fucking soup. Okay, so I wouldn't remember if I had. I probably have, but I don't certainly remember. And that Nick tried to act as a quasi-therapist while continuing to maintain contact over an extended period. Here's their personal retelling of their experiences with Nick. Let's see. You start this by saying the person has BPD, which is already like a knock against them, right? Because now I'm going to be thinking, this motherfucker don't remember anything, and it's nuts. A lot of the story is covered with the DMs I shared, but I do have my own perspective about the entire experience I had with him. I did read back through the DMs myself, and I feel like much of my time with him, being a content creator, I find his behavior very appalling. I bet you are not a content creator at all, okay? I find his, and also 1,000 to like literally 100K, you're not a content creator, okay? Before that, you're a nobody. I find his behavior very appalling with how much he tried to act like an emotional therapist throughout the entirety of his DMs. He should have had the forethought to not initiate a conversation with a fan on his end. Though I do want to provide some context to the DMs to put a frame to how things began. I was a fan since around the time he made Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared video.
I'm starting to think Google Docu makers think you need build up to a climax of horror also. Who is this?
Yeah, it's like
about?
a novel. This is about Nick Nocturne, aka Nightmind. He does like spooky horror videos. And he's also like occasionally like a horny adult. But like, you know, I'd be throwing stones in glass houses if I, you know, had a problem with that, I guess, you know. Let's see. I think I might have stopped watching him in 2019. I believe the reason I just lost interest with his videos. I only picked up watching him again during October of 2023 when I noticed that he was doing VTubing, with me catching his streams a couple of weeks after he joined Astroline. I really got into his streams about unfiction and wanted to catch back up with his videos. I fell head over heels for his newer content and decided to join his Patreon Discord server. I think you fell head over heels for him, but okay. My first contact with Nick was when I was doing a bit of a lighthearted joke in the server, saying that I paid $500 to have Nick record a hypno ASMR content for me. Okay, so this person finds Nick to be incredibly attractive and then makes a joke where they're offering $500 for hypno ASMR. Guys. Guys. I think that the person that wrote this doc, I know this is not the doc, this is not the victim, okay? and he immediately opened DMs asking more details regarding the commission. That's actually $500 for Hypno ASMR sounds pretty good, honestly. I think, yeah. This person is down horrendous. Yeah, that's at least some backstory to the DMs themselves to provide some context for how everything kicked off. You're like, Nick Nocturne, I will give you $500 if you do Hypno ASMR for me. And then he was like, yeah, bet. Looking back over my time with Nick, I feel that he emotionally groomed me for the purposes of monetary gain for my own financial contributions. He took advantage of the fact that I had borderline personality disorder and attempted to lure me into a parasocial dynamic that he was building with me. Is this a parody? Is it you? This reads like what Chud's chat would say when there's a woman. Did somebody make this person up? Like, it's just a fake person? He claims that he did not want a parasocial dynamic with me, but his actions contradict his claim. Responding and interacting with me through those DMs, he crossed that creator fan line multiple times with me, and I genuinely feel hurt and traumatized because of the fact that I can no longer trust any creators because of my experience with Nick. What kind of... You should just treat creators like normal people. Why are you putting them in this separate box? I actually know a big name in the Hypno ASMR scene, and they make $60K a month. I need to care less about my image and just make stuff that'll make me money, because holy shit, dude. You're telling me I can make $60,000 a month doing fucking ASMR? I can no longer trust any creators because of my experiences with Nick, and I remain hesitant to enjoy any unfiction media because it reminds me of him too much. Hear the DM exchange between them and start reading from the bottom. These start reading from the bottom. What?
No, this person sounds exactly like a BPD haver. They seem to forget how the disorder works whenever they don't want to take responsibility. I have BPD.
Well, you know. Society. Let me do my best Nick Nocturne impression. I'd like to know more about what's out there in the audio field this way. I'm here for a conversation. You're good to
Bro,
tell
he
me.
makes sex shit. You wanted to pay him to make sex shit. It's me saying a prostitute groomed me because I offered to pay for her services and she took it seriously.
Yeah, I don't, you know, man, this person's just down horrendous, dude. I'm here for the conversation. You're good to tell me. Well, I do have my preferences with sleep hypnosis myself. I mean, if you're open to stuff, I'd be more than happy to go more in depth with it. What kind of hypnosis are we talking? Usually it's hyperbole when people say anything like that. And I'm not one to jump at hyperbole or things like this. But I've been enjoying voice work quite a lot lately. Wasn't kidding, huh? Yeah, am I like getting his tone correct? I definitely can't do his voice, but that feels like his tone, you know? Yeah, totally a joke, 100% a joke. They don't want this conversation at all. What's the appeal of Hypno anyway? I mean, that sissy Hypno guy was like fighting tooth and nail to not turn into a woman, so I don't know. I think it's the feeling of like a loss of control. If I'd have to say, that's like my honest interpretation. Like you feel like a loss of control. You're completely at the whim of this other person's more powerful mercy. You know, it's definitely a bottom thing. Diesel, where do you fall on the Night Mind's role in the whole Mama Max thing? Dude, listen, I'm not up to that fucking part yet, okay? I make the joke all the time. I'm not a Dune Mentat. I don't keep all this shit in my brain. You knew that answer too quick. I'm not into hypno at all. It's not hot. I don't mind. I'm not finishing that statement. I'm not gonna finish that one. I'm not gonna finish that one. I almost forgot where I was. It just hypno turns you into a dog girl. Yeah, that's night docs. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's night. That is night docs. Yeah, you're mixing up night docs and night mind. Different guy. Diesel acting like he's not speaking from experience. No, okay, well now I gotta fucking defend myself against the hypno allegations, okay? So I am not answering this. I'm gonna keep continuing to ignore you because now I've all like made it worse by engaging with it. So I'm gonna move on from this bit to another thing. And by the way, it's okay to jar the figure. LOL. I'll take the payment through Patreon. Just an easy uptick in the patronage should, I think, automatically go through as if it were directly PayPal. I know you said 500, and anyone else would maybe tell me to just say yes and then proceed. But I do want to make sure that this is a comfortable offer. This is custom, but it's my first time offering something direct in this manner as a dedicated work that I'd give my Night Mind audio treatment. Have you been a good puppy? Get that shit out of here. Don't you dare. Night Mind be like, you listen to the sound of this metronome, and then at the count of 3, you will literally roll on the floor like a dog. No worries. I mean, it was a bit of hyperbole on the price, to be honest. I do sometimes have the tendency to do that. Like, realistically, maybe closer to 350 to 400, if that would be okay with you. I do have money coming up sometime mid this month from a hackathon at NYC. Last month, this person has given me, dude, who's asking for this leadhead? Dude, hyperbole, excuse me, hyperbole. I had a fucking brain damage, okay? Hyperbole, yes, hyperbole, chat. This is such a funny joke, by the way, guys. Oh my god. Not only do they want a hypno audio from this guy, who is, you know, a popufer, but they also want they also want to pay for this hypno porn with money from a hackathon. Okay, you can't make this up. This is the most stereotypical series of events I've heard. Dude, Nightmind's doing it for 350? Sounds good. And hey, if you're getting a figure, I can roll with 350 easy. Leadhead would ask for Vertigo ASMR. The individual also claimed that there was another person who doesn't wish to be named here who went through a similar experience, going through many of the same struggles, interacting with Nick in the same way. Yes, the whole hypno hackathon thing is like giving. Yes, it is very transcoded. So that's the entire grooming section. The entire grooming section is that Nightmind, if asked, will do custom ASMR. There was literally nothing problematic about this series of events. They didn't show anything. There's nothing problematic here. What is problematic here? What are we talking about? This was a transactional series of events. performative apologies. I really don't care. I really don't care. I think this person is Nightmind. I think you won. I think you won, Nightmind. I don't think you have to worry. You may come across some streams over the next few days, Nightmind, but if any of the contemporaries seem to reach a different conclusion, I would find that to be quite surprising. I just don't care about like if he backed the wrong horse and Alex kissed her or like any of that stuff. And I don't care about Crypt TV. I don't think most people do. Nick posted his responses in the cord, going through his latest VOD right now. Let me take a look. Oh, this is from the Lollipop Chainsaw stuff. Blah blah blah. The Warriors' misunderstandings, and tonight I played Lollipop Chainsaw. Let's see. Knee-jerk excitement. They won't be imposing creative. I find explicit declaration of Dig Ramis that they won't be imposing excessive creative restrictions in the name of the game's DEI. Repugnant, terribly disappointing, and a rejection of the values. Blah. As with the original title, the new title aims to recreate the world of rich dark humor development process of the prioritize staying true to the distinctive tone and spirit of the original work without imposing excessive restrictions in the name of DEI. I don't even know if I'd say it's repugnant. I think you're kind of like, this is performative. This is 100% a performative apology that you're making, like a completely performative statement. Because back in the day, the like cultural shoe was on the other foot, and people were mad at Lollipop Chainsaw because of its sexual nature, right? And there's been like an anti-sex positive push that does come from the woke left, he says very pejoratively and describing a wide swath of people, you know? So it's like, yeah, they're saying that, and I don't necessarily think they needed to make that kind of statement in that language, right? Or maybe they didn't need to, but then in the same breath, people already had a problem with Lollipop Chainsaw because it was sexy in nature. And also, to clarify, I know she's like dressed as a cheerleader. She is an adult. She is an adult. But yeah, it's just DEI as a word doesn't mean anything now. The same way that woke and leftist and all the culture war words mean literally nothing. So engaging with it in any capacity is falling for the nonsense. There's just no way to go about it, right? It's a good game. I'm glad they didn't change it up. I'm glad 0% of the game became something else. I'm glad they kept it as is. Good. That's exactly how it should have been. You know, at the very least, if people feel it's necessary, give a trigger warning. If not, don't, you know. But yeah, I think this Nick Nocturne it's cringe. It's bad. It was a bad Google Docky, like literally 2 out of 10. Actually, I'll probably give this one a good, like, we're gonna do it on a 5-star rating. That's easier. This Google Docky gets a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Out of 5 cabinets. That's what we're gonna do. 5 cabinets. 2.5 out of 5 little guys. I don't know. I thought sex positivity was woke. What happened? Both are wrong, but like by different groups. Everybody, listen, man. All of these things are like, they double back on each other. There is no right answer. Okay, there's no right answer. Anyway, I'm going now. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you won't be here tomorrow. You know, but I'll see you guys tomorrow.